Welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. How is everybody doing tonight? Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to check this out, even though you missed the most fun part, the live party. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, make sure you are here. Don't worry, you will still very much enjoy this, but hit that subscribe button so you never, ever, ever miss another live Indian Jesus party again. Big thank you to the sponsor of this stream, MoistCr1TiKaL. Whatever your persuasion, they've got something for you. And of course, the only place to get your very own, the Indian Jesus official merch, only at MoistCr1TiKaL. All right. Welcome to the party, everybody. Unfortunately, this is not a video that I was very excited to make, but you know, as it said in the description, I'd be lying if I said I didn't see it coming. So if you haven't, we're talking about Sneako. We're talking about Sneako. Sneako is back. Well, yeah, maybe he's back, maybe he's not back, maybe he's gone forever. I don't know, but the reason people are talking about Sneako is because despite the fact that he has been banned from everywhere, apparently he has been you know, just existing in his echo chamber on on Rumble, and but he got into a beef with MoistCr1TiKaL. Charlie, aka MoistCr1TiKaL, aka Penguin Zero, over, you know, some stupid thing, you know, the same kind of beef that Sneako always gets into. And then he looks up Charlie's girlfriend, and he's like, oh, look, you know, she's and he made a reaction, and then apparently Sneako just danced around his room flailing a pew pew, and yeah, so let's dive in right there with the most recent drama, and then let's take a retrospective at what happened with Sneako.
Hey Sneako, does this outfit look familiar? This is the same thing I wore last time.
Hold on.
I took you over my knee and spanked your bottom with some discipline, and I'm happy to report that these are back in stock and a lot more at MoistGlobal.com. Last time I talked about you, I used you for a merchandise push as well, so might as well stick with tradition. I bet just seeing me in this attire again has just sent you on a full-blown Winter Soldier episode with your eyes rolling into the back of your skull as you're experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder, because the first video I made on you offended you to such a high degree that you have not stopped whining since. It's already been 3 months, can you believe that? How time flies. You started shit with me by insulting me and my girlfriend out of nowhere, so naturally I responded by making fun of you in return and showcasing the reasons why I don't respect you. But unfortunately, I failed to calculate just how much of a sensitive fucking loser you are, because this hurt your feelings to such a high degree it's become like an Armageddon in your brain. 3 months you have continued to melt down about this. The day after I posted my response, you went on
This is what I was talking about. He just, you know, posted this. Oh my goodness, Dan Jensen starting off hot. I didn't even get a chance to fix the banner from last time yet, and already Morty is getting that treat. Thank you so much to Dan. Welcome to the party. And we also got Lefty Lucy in the building. Welcome. Glad to have you. We are going over the downfall of Sneako. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. Him just acting a fool.
And had a huge unhinged tantrum and meltdown about the whole thing, and then he sent some of his viewers over. So I was joking with them, saying like, oh, you guys must have just stopped the cuties watch party over there at Sneako's stream, right? Welcome, cucks, that kind of shit. And it got really under his skin in a big way, so he started dancing around with a gun and threatening to come shoot me. So he kept saying, oh, you're in Tampa, right? I'll come see you, waving his gun around and dancing.
You want to watch my clips? Watch my clips. Watch my clips. You want me to watch your clips? Watch my clips. These are the only clips I'm watching. You were?
Now the
cringe. Now remember when we first started talking about Sneako on this channel, it was a conversation between Sneako and Abba from Abba and Preach about Red Pill Rage, and the kind of assumption that we came to was that he had been recently red pilled, and usually there's a period of rage that comes with whether it's, you know, politics or dating or religion or anything else. When you have this worldview that gets shattered, then it's typical for there to be some type of anger that comes with that. And so he was experiencing that, but that was about a year ago, if not more. I mean, I could look it up exactly, but that was a while ago. And it seems that maybe he could have grown out of it, but you know, just based on all the stuff we're about to go over, it obviously did not happen.
The reason he keeps saying watch my clips while threatening me here is because during the stream I couldn't watch him live because he just kept shouting slurs. So I said watch my clips to see what I was saying about you. I had to communicate via Twitch clips. And I'm sorry to be that guy. This is like the grammar police of guns, but he's a fucking imbecile. You absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips. These are mags. They're mags, not clips. You absolute fucking dummy.
Got it.
That this is also a mag. They're all mags. Stop saying clips. You look fucking stupid here. Anyway, sorry for the gun anatomy lesson. He was very upset, so he was threatening to come shoot me, beat me up.
If you didn't notice, that was a super low-key flex. Well, not super low-key, but that was a flex on, yeah, you want to show me your little 5-round mags? I got a whole thing here.
All of that because I hurt his feelings, and it's been festering for quite some time now. 3 fucking months. You love to bitch about how everyone's canceling you. These soy boy NPC bots are all canceling you. It's all you do. You treat the teenagers in your Discord like they're your goddamn therapist. Just going in there to complain about the invisible boogeyman canceling you again, shaking your fist at the clouds. I also love that you treat this Discord server like it's your PR team.
So let's see. Oh, Sneako. So we have a post in Discord. He says, "Quick, I need a response to go to memes." And so Destiny tweeted, "When I'm in a cucked competition and my opponent is Sneako," and then it's the meme here. And he goes to Discord to have his fans help him come up with a response. Very sad.
So you have them work on your responses on Twitter because you're not witty enough to come up with anything on your own. You have no ability to banter. You can't insult anyone. Nope. Anytime you're pushed, all you fall back on is one of 3 things: soy boy, bot, or NPC. And that's it. You never deviate from this path, which is ironic because you're like literally a sheep. You have 3 programmed responses. You're like the absolute worst character, side character in an MMO. It's pathetic. But I'm getting sidetracked. You love to be super public about how much you hate antidepressants and you shit on anyone who takes antidepressants. But with the way you talk in your Discord server, I'm pretty convinced that you're only 2 or 3 messages away from asking your community to source antidepressants for you under the table to help with all this mental anguish you're going through.
Yeah, he might need it. Like he's going through it.
And I think that honestly be a good idea. It might help you. But I'm putting the cart before the horse here. How did we get to this point? Well, I made that video about Sneako, and I fully planned on that being the only time I ever talked about this asshole. I really did. All I wanted to do was highlight why I personally don't respect him. I know a lot of people criticize me for not tackling his points, and to that I say, bah humbug, this fucking goober didn't make any points. All he did was insult me and my girlfriend. He insulted me and my girlfriend because I made fun of one of his friends' blatantly fake stories. He resorted to childish name-calling like, I'm ugly, and I don't go outside. That's not making any points. Like, what am I supposed to debunk there? No, actually, my mom thinks I'm handsome, and so does my girlfriend, so you're wrong, factually wrong. There's nothing to debunk.
So that's basically where the drama was before this. There was one video, and then there was the dancing stupid thing that Sneako did. So that's all that you really missed from this actual iteration of the beef. If you did miss it, if you do care, it doesn't really matter. The exact points. I just wanted to show you guys where what kickstarted all of this. And then we're going to take a look at some retrospective ideas and where he came from, and is certainly not where he ended up.
The whole point of the video was highlighting why I don't respect him. I'll go ahead and briefly give you a previously on Dragon Ball Z lore recap to bring you up to speed on the points I was making for why I think he is a pathetic piece of shit, and his opinion holds no value in my eyes. Is because he publicly defends Cuties as one of his favorite movies. Cuties was a Netflix film that used real child actresses in sexual situations. So they sexualized real children.
Yep.
A fact.
Hey, we got Alex Pickus in the building. Can you guys hear the sounds? It feels like it's mad quiet to me, but I can never tell. But welcome to the party. We are checking out what the hell happened with Sneako.
That Sneako himself acknowledges, but writes off as being okay because it's realistic, because in the real world, children get sexualized. I'll say it again. Regardless of what the intention of the film was, they missed the mark because what ended up happening is they sexualized the child actresses. That is a problem. Full stop. Even if the message was supposed to be the opposite, they still ended up contributing to the very problem they were speaking out against.
I watched Cuties last night, and it was pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. I went in ready to hate like everybody else. I saw the cover, and I got clickbaited. So did you. You got clickbaited. Thing about
no, sir. I think You got clickbaited. That you wanted to see this movie.
Cuties is not an unrealistic film. Like, yes, it shows
That's not the point, bro.
children in a sexual way, but
That's the point. That's the point. It shows children in a sexual way, not by messing camera tricks or anything, but by actually having those children perform in a sexual way. That is the issue. Not that it happens elsewhere in society, but that it happened in this movie. A lot of people care no freedoms. Welcome to the party. I absolutely cannot pull that up, but welcome to the party.
this is not unusual now. And the people who are really mad about this aren't Gen Z.
Imagine claiming children in sexual positions is clickbait. Yikes. That's rough. You admit that the children were sexualized. That is bad. Okay? That means the movie failed in its mission.
Yep.
I don't know what you don't get about that. But regardless, I'm not here to just keep hammering home the same points.
Hey, we got Harley Rose in the building, a resident fact checker. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And David Banner is here. What is good? What is good? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are charting the downfall of Sneako.
Another thing that I talked about for a reason I don't respect him is because he battles with his own sexuality. He is very public about how he used to go to these swinger parties. I think he says 4 in total over the course of like 2 weeks, where he watched his girlfriend get fucked by other men. Even telling the story of how he was literally in the bed watching his girl get fucked by a different man, moaning intensely, and it was traumatizing. Yet
I would bet it would be.
he recommends that everyone should try it at some point for some reason.
Because this was imagine seeing the girl you love like
Get fucked.
get fucked.
You love her?
Yeah, I do. I love it. Yeah, I love her. I was about to say I love this bitch. I'm like, no, let me not say that. I love my
Queen.
wifey, my queen.
And you allowed the love of your life to get fucked.
Facts,
by another
David.
man.
What happened to the other
Is
agreement?
there-
Why
is there-
that
is there-
wouldn't last?
I'm crazy.
The first time, as soon as I saw it, like 3 pumps in, I just got up and walked out. I'm just like, I can't do that. Like, feeling traumatic
Yup.
thoughts, like seeing her with another person. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I think it's something everybody should do just to test. I know. You know what?
So my point with this was,
So, yeah, both you guys saying, you know, Sneako's a weirdo, that he's cringe, and he wasn't always this way. He wasn't always this way. And so tonight, I want to take a look at why and how he got to be this way from somebody who used to be, you know, putting out these thoughtful and deep, at least for his age, these deep video essays about life, about, you know, stuff that you just weren't seeing much in general, especially from people his age. And then we got, you know, then we got Sneako. There's a difference between Sneako and Sneako.
why is this the guy that's lecturing everyone on their relationships, shitting on people's relationships, when he himself is in one that makes him very upset and he can't come to terms with it? Now, if he's open about being a cuck and happy and proud to be a cuck, that's fine. But he's not. It makes him mad.
I guess we're
every
cursing
single
on this
time.
stream.
So why the fuck is this insecure guy the one that's the moral authority on healthy relationships all of a sudden? That was the point of me bringing up that clip. Now, that was basically the whole video. I summed it up real quick. All I pointed out is I don't respect his opinion because he defends a movie I consider to be child porn. I think any film or any production that has real children being sexualized should be classified as child porn. That's how I view it. Maybe your definition is different, but that's how I personally view that kind of content.
Again, real quick, anybody can, when the next time I use a soundboard, just let me know if it's coming in normal, quiet, whatever else. David says, do you think he's sort of a grifter for that disconnect for the Matrix crowd? Nope. Nope. He is not a grifter. He is full bore. He is sold on this stuff. He is the Matrix. He is the Matrix. He is lost in the sauce. I don't think he's a grifter at all. Because look how much hate he's getting from and taking L after L after L. Like what would be the grift? That I'm just a big loser, that nobody likes me? So no, I think he's dead serious.
Content. So him defending that was beyond reprehensible to me. And him being very public with his cuckoldry and how scarring it has been, it should be a lesson, an example that he himself is not great when it comes to relationships and all these things. And I posted that and it made him extremely upset and he hasn't stopped fucking crying about it for 3 months. So fast forward to 2 days ago.
Thank you, David.
I was streaming a Moist Esports tournament and I went up to go to the bathroom. I had to take a shit. It was a double flusher. So I was on the toilet for quite some time and I saw a Sneako post
Thank
that
you,
he's
Dan.
posted quite a few times now. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. not doing anything else right now in the porcelain throne. I'll play in the pig pen. So I did. For 3 months now, Sneako's had this adorable little collage that he made that looks like it's straight out of a 16-year-old girl's diary with pictures.
Yeah, have you guys seen this? This is the picture. Let's just get rid. This is the collage that he's made. This is some dude. This is Ethan Klein. This is Hassan, and this is D'Angelo something or another. It's a collage of what he calls the soy boys who hate on him, and they all look exactly the same. No, they don't.
Pictures of boys from her class that she doesn't like. All about people that have hurt his feelings. This is his wall of shame for people that have insulted him online. What's even sadder about it is he purposely leaves out people that he's afraid of. So Turkey Tom, for example, made a whole video talking about Sneako and how pathetic he is. And Sneako tried to talk a big game to him, even challenged him to a debate, which Turkey Tom accepted with jubilation. He was ecstatic.
Then why did we get, or why didn't we get that debate? I do agree. There is definitely a lot of soy in that collage, but the idea that, I mean, I get where he's coming from, but it's like, if that's the only joke he has. That's the only joke he has. So it'd be funny if it was a one-off thing, but like, that's his thing. It's like, hey, look, soy boy, 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 soy boy. Like, okay, we get it, dude. We get it.
And then Sneako kept ducking him, ghosting him. So he leaves Turkey Tom off of this list because he's afraid to actually talk to him. And he also leaves off quite a few other people, but the most notable other one that is comical for the absence is Brandon Buckingham.
Yep.
Brandon Buckingham is an internet content creator that Sneako lied about for a long time, and they had a lot of beef, and Brandon Buckingham actually challenged him to a fight. And Sneako is very fearful of him. We'll get into that more in depth in a moment, but I just need to set the stage a little bit here with this collage. So after seeing this for the 100th time in the last 3 months, I finally just said, holy shit, you pathetic, sensitive, soy little worm. I made fun of you for watching your girlfriend get fucked by numerous other men and also insulted you for defending child porn. That's not cancellation. That's just spitting on you for being a pitiful, sad cuck. And this puppy really blew up on Twitter in a big way. Now, I will say it again. What I did and what I am doing right now is not canceling you, Sneako. I am insulting you. I am making fun of you. Something that you were supposed to be a huge proponent of, right? Wasn't like one of your big things like bullying needs to be brought back. So now that I'm making fun of you, what all of a sudden now it's off limits, now it's canceling? You have become the SJWs that you criticize so much. I don't know how you don't realize that. We continue. He says, you know in your soul you would never say that to my face. To which I respond, you literally have a collage of people that hurt your feelings on the internet. You haven't stopped whining about me for months now, you goofy NPC. Even if you beat my ass in a fight, it doesn't change the truth. You're still a cuck who also defends child porn.
That is huge. As a 5'4" puny little dude, when I started having very strong opinions that people didn't like, it would always go, yo, I'd beat the fuck out of you. No. Like, okay. You then just be a dumbass who beat the fuck out of me. Like, that doesn't change anything. Not taking the bait of everything is about fighting. You know, when you're 15, whatever. But by the time you're, 25, it's not cool to fight people. Like, if you get in fights, you're a fucking loser. And so early on, like, and you could stretch that much further the bigger and stronger that you are. And the more fighting skills that you have, you can take that and become like a professional fighter where it's not a cringe because it's matched up and it's at least somewhat a legitimate sport. But like, just, oh, I'm gonna beat you up because you said a thing.
What?
Like, that's the most beta shit I've ever heard.
I think this is important to talk about, and I just talked about it recently. When you are getting your feelings hurt and your immediate response isn't to fire back with insults, jokes, whatever, it's to challenge someone to a fight, you've taken a huge L. You've shown that the person has got under your skin, and the only thing you can resort to is a caveman brain of, I'll beat you in a fight. Sneako, you beating me in a fight doesn't unfuck your girlfriend from the numerous men that had sex with her in front of you. It doesn't do anything. Everything I've said still stands. Nothing changes. It doesn't even salvage your ego. All it is a pathetic fucking attempt at attention. And I don't think you believe half the things you talk about. I really think Sneako just panders as much as possible. He himself doesn't even stand by the things he talks about. I really don't think he has any beliefs of his own. He just echoes what he thinks is going to get him the biggest audience / the most money.
That's interesting, because he says that, David was asking about being a grifter, and I said, absolutely not. I think he's lost in the sauce. But, Charlie here, thinks maybe he is. I don't see that could possibly be. Like, you would have to be a genius to be able to craft this in such a way that, like, oh, I'm going to carve out this community and make them love me so much that it doesn't matter that everybody thinks I'm a laughingstock and everybody hates me and nobody wants to have anything to do with me. But the people who watch me, oh man, I got them. So I mean, I think the idea that that people are grifters is a little bit overused. Harley said people make up their intelligence for physical strength. Yep. David says I agree on that. Fighting because someone calls you on your shit makes you look like an ignorant little kid. Yep. And I've taken beatings just to prove that that's the case. I'm like, all right, beat me up then. And I got beat up. And I was like, okay, did that make you right? Guess who walked away with that one with their head held high. Both can be true, dude says. There can be some grift, but he is for sure lost in the sauce. That's fair. I think that's he definitely will say, to the extent of pandering. He definitely will pander a lot, but I think a grifter specifically denotes somebody who is espousing things that they don't believe for the purpose of gaining attention with that. Whereas I think Sneako might see a little bit more value in some of the things that he says versus others, but he believes. He definitely does. Yeah, maybe his girl destroyed his manhood and his mind. I would not be surprised. But you can't underestimate the power of clout and just like before he was canceled. You have to think about the mindset that Sneako was in. So he was on top of the world. He, his both of his channels were going through the roof. He was all over social media. He was hanging out with the Tates. He was flying out to Romania. All of this stuff. He's still that same guy. He just doesn't have the resources. So no freedoms. You might be very, very much on point here.
That's what I think. So this puffing out his chest of challenging me to a fight is clearly attention. That's what it feels like. Because you don't have the same energy for Brandon Buckingham. Brandon Buckingham is more than willing to fight you any day of the week. But with him, you don't want to do that for some reason. Why? Do you not stand by your beliefs when it comes to Brandon Buckingham? He has said all the same things about you that I am saying about you. So why is he exempt? Why don't you want to fight him? That's so weird. This is what you said about Brandon Buckingham and fighting him.
And then finally, when Brandon Buckingham is down to meet Sneako, he's there to box him. They're both similar sizes. Sneako would now rather just sit at home and tell jokes behind his computer.
I'd rather sit at home and yell at a camera, tell jokes than, risk my manhood falling flat for Brandon Buckingham, if I lose the fight.
So now it's suddenly cool to just stay at home and keep it all online.
The full video here from Willie Mack is an absolute masterpiece on laying out every pathetic thing that Sneako has ever done, said, or everything ever.
I agree, which is why we are going to jump over and watch that right now. So this is the video that Charlie was using that he just referenced. So I want to show you the MoistCr1TiKaL video just to give you some context on why this is all being reignited. But now let's take a look back in time. Let's travel back in time and see where all this got derailed. David says, I found it interesting that before the Tates got arrested, they cut off Sneako. He wasn't allowed at the complex anymore. Yeah, I remember one time he was there. He was in, I saw a clip from wherever, and he was in the room. And he was like, oh, they're saying that I'm too much of a risk. That's because the Tates, despite having, being in jail, but just with their online contact, despite being at the very edge of what was acceptable, they rode that line pretty well. If they hadn't been doing all this scam stuff and the fraud stuff, then there's no way that they would have been canceled. He just doesn't have the awareness, despite having been an online person for a decade. They knew that he was a risk, and good on them. And it says, why are you allowed a gun if you're dancing around on the internet with it? Well, I mean, definitely a fan of the Second Amendment, but I definitely agree you shouldn't be dancing around with it. And we're going to get a little more into that. And the video that MoistCr1TiKaL just referenced, let's do it.
Hello, everybody. I know it's been a while. I've done a bit
Oh, sorry.
of a red pill binge lately. I've been watching this cute little twink boy named Sneako. And you know what? He's really been waking me up, saying some stuff that seriously resonates with me.
I just want to bully this guy. Like, bring bullying back. Bullying is necessary.
I couldn't agree more. Sneako is a thought leader who lives by trying to seek the truth, even though he can't explain what that truth is.
My motto for the stream is seek truth through funny. I want to be able to tell the truth.
You don't talk about the issues that you don't question the powers that be, and you don't talk about the uncomfortable truths that are really happening.
I've always said this on my stream. If they hide it, then it's the truth. If they have to delete it, then it's the truth.
He's made a career off of suckling off the success of Andrew Tate.
I want to be the top G one day. I want to be there.
Tate is currently under investigation for human trafficking and has admitted to holding women's passports hostage. And Sneako's just like, it's normal. They should just ask for it back.
Hold on, did Tate, wait, I think Tate,
He literally says this. Listen.
did Tate actually say he took their passports? Yes, he did say that. Okay, so that's how they can't leave then. He actually takes the passports. He probably lies and he says it's for tax reasons.
Silence.
I think you're glazing right now, bro.
They could have asked for it back. They kicked out many women. Destiny, do you not hear about the podcast? You have selective hearing. You don't.
They could have asked for them back. Then why take them in the first place, bro? Why take them in the first place if they could just have them back? Obviously. And then here he's saying, you have selective hearing. Projection much?
Hear about how many times these women were acting up and they kicked him out because they didn't know how to obey.
Based.
What you just said sounds like sex
Except for fraud, no freedoms, right?
trafficking, my dude. I don't know how you don't understand that.
That's what you deep down need to do, is be a submissive wife who bleeds once a month and cries at movies. Fat lying piece of shit. I would beat the f out of you, your dumb mouth that I want to. It's something. It's comedy. It's funny. Crack some jokes and stuff like that.
This is going to be a fun video. You see, Sneako's a very
Yes, it is going to be a fun video. I hope you guys are ready. We've been tackling some serious topics, but I am ready to have fun with you guys with this one.
good at building arguments, so let me point you to people who are good at building things. Like PCs. Not a PC. Is your PC crusty and disgusting like
is her pussy?
Sneako's content and message largely revolves around destroying women. He loves watching these street interviews. It's what he bases his entire worldview off of.
Why are the
Is fraud legal in Romania? I didn't know that.
Women who say they won't settle, okay with settling for living and dying alone with a dozen cats?
They're egotistical and they don't want to ever admit that they need a man or that maybe they failed in the dating game.
He'll occasionally do street interviews himself to try and prove that women can't think logically.
Donald Trump or Joe Biden?
Oh shit. This is gonna sound so like privileged white girl of me, but I'm not that into politics, so I don't have much say on that. Neither, middle, I don't know.
What do you say neither? So should women vote?
Yeah. Yes, 100%.
He thinks that's an own. He thinks that since these girls don't personally vote, then no woman should vote.
And I get where it's coming from. Where, you know, as somebody who was watching Sneako as a fan for a decent amount of time, like, I get the point you're trying to make, but you're just not hitting as hard as you think you're hitting, bro. Dan says he acts like someone who needs to be locked up in a mental ward. I mean, lately, yeah. It's, I mean, what happened?
They are so goddamn delusional, and we still put up with it. They'll never learn. They won't. They don't have to.
Sneako will take random moments of some girl getting stopped in the street and ask the basic ass question like, hey, is everyone special? And she'll say yes. Sneako will then freak out.
Special.
Everybody's special. You're special, you're all.
Oh my God! Every single time.
Believe in yourself.
So this has the amalgam of the fresh and fit, the bad parts of Fresh and Fit, and the bad parts of Andrew Tate. You put them together, and you get Sneako. Change my mind. Can we get 2 more likes up in this building?
Believe that you can do anything you want to do.
You can't just make up a reality in her head. She can because she's a woman. Men can't just make it up. I'm a king. No, we should.
So David Banner says, I don't know if you're going to touch on it, but Captain Paul said something that really resonated with me. Sneako really seems like someone struggling to find their own identity. Not only are we going to talk about it, but Captain Paul himself will be on the show. So we're going to watch his video, and I want to get him. We're going to get him on to expand on it as somebody who has known Sneako since he was a younger kid. So speaking of which, Mons, if you could remind me when we get to the TSP video with Captain Paul, to hit him up to make sure he is ready. But yes, oh yes, like I said, we're gonna have some fun tonight.
You give me the castle, pussy. That's what happens. Modern female delusion. Every single time with the illusion.
Who is this guy kidding? If anyone was stopped randomly and asked these sort of contradicting questions, they would get caught up in it. Sneako himself.
I would argue that our society is the least.
It is. Women have the most rights ever right now, and they still act like they're oppressed. They have more rights today than they've ever had.
But so do black people. So do you think black people shouldn't try to fight for more?
Oh, that was a good
question. But racism is not natural. Patriarchy is natural. That's biology. Racism is based in just hatred.
Yeah, Sneako, the film school.
I think Sneako is 24. I could be wrong about that, but I believe he's 24, maybe 25 now.
Dropout is going to tell us how biology is related to human rights.
Yo, is this person retarded?
Yes. Sneako is someone who will often project while reacting to videos. He's usually just describing himself.
Damn, she's dumb. This is when a girl only knows how to disagree. She got triggered by a question, and I know women. All she's going to do is look to disagree now. As soon as you trigger them, they stop making sense. They just need to fight you.
This is Sneako. He argues points that make zero sense just because he's too proud to admit he's wrong in a debate. I've seen this guy argue that seatbelts make vehicles more unsafe.
Seatbelts, you too. Do you wear a seatbelt when you drive, or do you not give a fuck with it?
I have this thing where you can put a seatbelt thing you can buy on Amazon. This is like advice for the chat. You can get like a seatbelt thing on Amazon that clicks in and then it gets rid of the beeping sound.
Okay, so you don't wear seatbelts either. Do you think seatbelts make you safer when you drive?
There's some circumstances where a seatbelt actually restricts you and traps you inside the car. You can see accidents.
There are some circumstances where somebody could
collision.
Yeah,
you get mad interrupting. Now
yeah.
My friend has the same exact argument. Now it's slightly different. Slightly different. When I had a car that didn't, you didn't have to wear your seatbelt in terms of it didn't have the beeping thing. We would drive around and he wouldn't wear a seatbelt, and I'm like, it is the law. Like I don't really care that much. You're an adult. You can choose to do whatever you want to do, but it is the law, and we do get pulled over. And he's like, I'll pay the ticket. I'm like, all right, cool. You do what you want. Then I got a new car, and this one beeped. And so we had to have the conversation about like, yo, I'm not listening to this beeping for the whole ride. Put your seatbelt on. And he would just kind of put it behind him and click it in. And so I just asked him, like, why don't you just wear the seatbelt? Like I would, like if I'm just driving down to the corner store or whatever, I usually wouldn't wear my seatbelt without the beeping thing anyway. But like, why? Like we're going on trips. Like I get it, but why such a strong push against it? And for him, it was a very personal thing where he had a very close friend that died very similarly to the way that Sneako is going to talk about. And so I felt that it was appropriate to give him some grace and be understanding, even though if I didn't agree with his position. That being said, I'm sure my friend would not tell everyone in the world that they shouldn't be wearing seatbelts because of his personal experience and his personal fear. Whereas Sneako is doing exactly that. I do agree with freedoms. I think the legislation takes away people's personal responsibility, and I think it's going to sound bad, but if we saw more people dying from not wearing seatbelts, then we wouldn't need a law for people to wear seatbelts. People would just want to wear seatbelts, and the people who don't want to wear seatbelts wouldn't have to pay the government for that choice. So I do agree with you. It's very obvious that the statistics show that it is way safer to wear a seatbelt.
There are circumstances where...
Hold on. Desi, let him finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can get into a collision, and if you have a seatbelt on, then you can get trapped in the car, and the car can catch on fire. But sometimes, if you're not wearing a seatbelt, there's instances where people have literally flown out the windshield because they weren't wearing a seatbelt and they survived. But a seatbelt can trap you in there.
What do you think?
You literally can buy a thing for like $3 that will cut the seatbelt.
I think is more common. Do you understand statistics or probability?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's more common.
He knows he's wrong. He just won't man up and admit it. He's so stupid. He thinks Hitler isn't a Nazi.
Hey, and before we get to that one, but that's exactly the point. He talks so negatively about women. And we're not afraid of that here. We will definitely call women out on their shit. But the problem is that he does the same exact shit that they do. He is so full of sign language that he might be deaf.
Hitler.
You think that like Hitler, or not Hitler, Kanye
Yeah. So he literally said that Hitler was not a Nazi.
was joking when he said that he liked Hitler, though?
No, he's being truthful. But he was saying something provocative on purpose. The overall idea, see, people say like, oh, look, he's a Nazi. No, he's not. He's black. Yeah, he's not a Nazi. That's the point.
Okay. Yeah, but you said he can't be a Nazi because he's black.
Okay, but he's not a Nazi.
Cool.
Oh, but not because
But not because he's black.
just for other reasons.
Well, you also can't be a true Nazi. You have to be blonde hair, blue eyed. Even Hitler wasn't a true Nazi.
Or like a neo-Nazi, I suppose. Yeah.
I feel like if that's how you're defining Nazi, Nazi becomes a useless statement, because if we can't even call the leader of the Nazi movement a Nazi, then
By his own definition, he wasn't part of the master race. So
yeah, then nobody's a Nazi.
Well, there's a difference between a Nazi, somebody part of the national, I don't know, but the National Socialist Party, and somebody who is part of the Aryan race. You dumb little boy. I watched the stream and I loved how Destiny, what he's doing right now, just sitting in the corner with it on his phone the whole time. That's all he did, and he just let Sneako just run himself into this. I don't know exactly how long the stream was, probably at least an hour and a half or so, but just let him dig this hole and let him get wrecked by these two girls. It was hilarious.
So it doesn't seem like that's a good definition of Nazi.
Owned by a woman? Cringe? Sneako is so stupid, he doesn't even know the difference between an Aryan and a Nazi. Sneako is so stubborn, he won't even admit the leader of the Nazi party was a Nazi.
As soon as you trigger them, they stop making sense.
No, definitely not. Not better than men, but...
So Harley says, in case you're curious, here's a seatbelt statistics site comparing those who do versus... Why not? Let's check it out. Okay, let's see, what are we looking at here? So we got a chart here. Anything here? Front seat passengers car. The NHTSA estimates that using lap and shoulder seatbelts reduce the risk of front seat passengers' deaths by 45%. Front seat passengers occupant moderate to critical injuries by 50%. And when it comes to trucks, the numbers are even higher. And so you can see here where's the thing? Okay, so gotcha. So if we are just looking at this year, we have lives saved as more people start to use the seatbelts. You can see that more lives are saved. National seatbelt usage percentage and percentage of known unrestrained passenger vehicle documents. So percentage and belt use and daytime percentage unrestrained. Yeah. So this is how much the people were using. Oh, sorry. This is how much people were using seatbelts. And this is how much people died while not wearing seatbelts. So, I mean, it's very clear. It's very clear that the seatbelts are statistically, ideal. Now, the fact is that if you are, so let's say, occupants who survive. So let's say you're in occupants who survive, right? Let's get this. There we go. So occupants who survived, unrestrained. This is a very small piece of the pie here, right? Most of these people who survived were wearing their seatbelt. But all of these people, it's only 15%, but all of these people were not wearing a seatbelt. And so we do have to take into account the fact that for people who are in those situations, statistics don't matter. Their own situation matters. And so that's why when it came to my friend, I really, was not ready to say that, okay, because of your personal experience, I don't want to deal with, whatever it is. Hey, we got Dan Jensen again. That Morty stare, I know it well. I know it well. Let's give him another treat. That's right, guys. Every super chat comes with a treat for Morty. He says thank you. Hey, Harley coming in clutch as well. Here, let me pull it down. See, we love you, okay? Why you gotta, that's what I've been telling you guys. That's what I've been telling you guys. He'll sit there and he'll stare at me. And it's like, bro, what do you want? That's what he wants. That's what he wants. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. So let's see. Anything else interesting here? Not really, but yeah, just obviously, of course, the statistics do show that seatbelts, it's just better. It's just better statistically.
We are better than men.
Imagine if I said that shit. If I said, no, men are better than women. And you go, why? Just because, no, it's my personal opinion. I'm just better than you. Like, as a gender, I'm just better.
He does do that all the time. Literally in the same video, he does that.
If I said that, I would have a million reasons as to why men are better than women. Like, more physically capable, smarter, faster, more capable of leading.
You got to feel bad for this chick. You just see the smile falling from her face.
Just, like, built better. We don't have extra body fat. We don't get pregnant for 9 months and get all emotional once a month. There's just, I can come in with reasons.
And she never came out and stream again. I wonder why he's single.
She doesn't know how to submit. Feminism has brainwashed these girls into thinking that they need to be all woke and shit like that. What you really want is a good man to fuck. Yeah, come here, shut the fuck up with your feminism. Shut up, cha-cha.
This is when he was doing this kind of stuff. This is really when he started to go off the rails, because you had people who were egging this on and were like, yeah, we love this. Let's do it. Let's go. And I mean, look at what we have on the chat here. We have to fear Allah. LMAO, W Daily Streamer, mods have arrived.
God, shut the fuck up. Yeah.
She's ugly, red flag, purple hair, lily, unwifeable. So he, the aspect of him grifting, or at least pandering, is absolutely coming from these maybe organic moments when he was being a little bit, much, but he was joking. But he got so much, feedback, positive feedback from it, that it's like, oh, this is what we do now. This is what we do now. Yeah, he took a deep dive into a shallow red pool. I love that. That is a great line. That's
what you need. You need that. The women are already pretty much run by the state. Women are easier to manipulate. Men are more capable of independent thought. It is what it is. I know that might sound misogynistic. Men are the philosophers. Men are the thought leaders. Stop believing in this feminist garbage. We're not equal. You're weaker than me. You're hormonal. You're supposed to have children, and you don't want to.
What is happening? He sounds like some Al-Qaeda politician. Women, no driving, no working, only meant for breeding.
That's what you deep down need.
He said he's an Al-Qaeda. You do not do this. It is a sickness of the highest order.
Need to do is be a submissive wife who bleeds once a month and cries at movies. You are more emotional. You know why? Because women are weaker.
Think about what the red pill message actually is meant to do. It's meant to give men the empowerment, as much as I don't like that word. It's meant to give men the empowerment and the understanding of how the world works, so that they're not, lost and alone and depressed and all this stuff. And he's taken it to a level that is so much further. And so you got people like No Freedoms, like, oh yeah, I love this. And like, look, like if that's your thing, okay, do you. But that is not how most people, most masculine adult men who are contributing to society, who would go down the list, that is not how these men think or feel or talk. And so if you're trying to appeal to young men to become better people, this ain't it. I use grift in synonymous with pandering, but yeah, I think pandering is more suitable for Sneako. Yeah, I mean, grifting is pandering to an extreme degree. So, the idea is that, you can pander without being a grifter, but you can't be a grifter without pandering. There you go. So, 6 of one, half dozen the other. Am I sure about what? These facts. Am I sure about what? But when he's wrong, Yeah, he is very wrong. And that the problem is that anybody can be wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. Like, we're all wrong about stuff. But one, you have to own that. You have to address it and be like, hey, I was wrong. And you have to be able to not let it just eat away at your ego because you weren't right about every little thing that you've ever said. You're in your 20s. You're not going to say everything correct. You just don't have enough time on this earth to know how to do that. So I don't understand where, and it's not just Sneako. There's a lot of people that it's just so, it's like it pains them to think that they could be wrong about anything. Like, you really think that? You really think you're right about everything all the time?
Chad, me and you, we get in the cage. Who's winning in a fight? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Cool, bro.
Yes, Sneako, you can beat up a woman. Really manly of you, dude. I present to you the Ray Rice Award. What's wild is this lady never said that woman can beat up men. All she said was that men can get emotional.
All his chats like, skip. We don't care about this.
Too, which is true. Sneako once cried on stream because Brandon Buckingham called him a cuck and challenged him to a boxing match.
What would you think if that happened to you, chat? What would you think if that happened to you?
The dude was so sad he had to open a window.
So sad he had to open a window.
Oh my god, man.
He was holding back tears on stream.
The same people, it's like the most hate comes from like,
wow, not so tough when having to deal with the guy that would beat the fuck out of him. But woman, yes, he'll fight a woman.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I feel like Sneako hates women because he's very close to identifying as one. I'm gonna read this tweet from Jeremy and I want to see if this correlates to Sneako at all. Loads of right-wing commentators are either closeted gays or tranny chasers. Look, I accept and support them, but many of these people you think are based and red-pilled love trans cock. Or well, cock in general. Deal with it. I mean, what?
I would say that that's probably more on point than not.
Other straight guy has so many half-naked photos of himself. He was jerking off in front of a male photographer, laying next to another man's ass. As a kid, he wore his sister's dress. Did I mention he was touching his peener in front of a male photographer? This was uncensored. I had to censor this. He was half chub, for sure. He has stories of these old guys eating out his girl while his peener is still in her, meaning other men have licked his wiener.
And so while I'm like hitting it from the back, he lays down on the floor and starts licking her. But think about like the logistics of that.
Dick is that close?
Think about the logistics. Like his head is like it's like 6 inches, like his eyebrows are like tickling the bottom, and I have to like move, like go like that so I don't make contact because his eyebrows are like tickling.
You only got to look at this guy for a minute to realize he's crying out for help. You see, once on stream, he admitted he caught a friend using the app Grindr.
I realized halfway through the ride, I'm like, oh, she left his phone. I pick up his phone from the passenger seat. I look up, 2 notifications from Grindr, chat. He had 2 notifications from Grindr.
So Willie Mack, the guy who is doing this video, just said something rather important, that he's crying out for help. And often when people are crying out for help, they don't know that they are crying out for help. But I absolutely agree that this guy is, like I said, lost in the sauce, and he doesn't know that the whole world isn't actually just existing to take down Sneako. He has this victim mentality that where else do we see? In all of this leftist propaganda and bullshit that he speaks against, he is exactly like them. He is the bot. He is the bot that he talks about. Hey, oh, where's my thing there? Hey, we got Trey Williams in the building. Welcome. What is good, brother? Says we're just watching a 23-year-old guy double down on his beliefs instead of taking some self-accountability and changing some of his ways. Exactly right, sir. Exactly right. Welcome to the party, brother. Glad you are here. David says, if someone is really your friend, you wouldn't care that they're on Grindr. I remember when I had met a friend through Akon, my boy Akon. For those of you who, I don't know, wrong one. My boy Akon, not the rapper. He had his name first, but we all went to college together, and the mutual friend. So let's call him Steve. So Steve was a friend of Akon, and obviously me and Akon were boys. And so I got to, hang out with Steve relatively often, and he also sold weed, so that was a reason to hang out with him. And after when it was, when was it? Oh, it was for Akon's funeral. So he lives in Ohio, Steve does, but obviously, when Akon died, then he came over to Jersey for the funeral. And he and I were just walking down the street. I don't remember, exactly context of what we were doing. But he's like, hey, so I just thought I'd let you know that, like, I like dudes. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, like, what did you want at McDonald's or whatever? And I didn't know how I would react in that situation because it's just never happened where somebody's just, like, coming out like that, and someone that I didn't necessarily already suspect. But I was just like, yo, I mean, as long as you're not trying to suck my dick, I don't care. So definitely agree, David. Goes on to say, funny how that is, Trey. Wouldn't a real red pill man take accountability for themselves and how they interact with the world instead of just making others view the focal point? Yep, others views the focal point of his life. On point. On point. Exactly. And this is missing the point. This is what his chat is full of. That is why he is the way he is.
I'm not going to bring it up. That's the option that I'm clicking. Just ignore it and keep pretending that he's straight. I want to keep living in the lie. Why is that not an option? Keep living in the lie.
This is sad. Sneako, you would be accepted. Jeremy accepts you.
Who is this cute little lesbian and how tight is her pussy?
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school.
As we've already seen, Sneako isn't the brightest. He completely ignores all facts, logic, and common sense when it comes to things that challenge his core values, and Andrew Tate is definitely one of them.
Guys, I need a huge favor from you. Just take the URL or hit the share button. Let's get this party popping. I'm so glad that you guys are here with me, but we got to grow this channel. So please, people care about Sneako. Pop that URL wherever you can place it. Thank you so much. If you have not already, please hit the like button.
He said multiple times that he wants to be the next Andrew Tate.
I'm trying to be that. I want to be the top G one day.
When the Tate...
That is sad. That is sad. If you're not willing to, after the kickboxing thing, like, yes, it is very cool to have money and women and cars and status and all of those things. But it's so superficial that despite it being something that you would want to aspire to, that being your top goal, pun intended, is kind of like saying, well, I'm going to eat 2,000 calories a day. Like, okay. Like, I mean, that's a good thing to do, but, like, is that really a goal? That you're just going to eat like a normal person? I mean, maybe that's a bad example because we have so many fat fucks, but you know what I mean?
Tate's got banned off YouTube. Tristan passed the torch to Sneako, and he completely creamed himself.
I'm going to continue living the life. So, Sneako, young man, if I disappear, I'm passing the torch to you. Keep spreading the message while it's still relevant to talk.
That was probably the number one thing. The number one thing. If Tristan didn't say that, then I don't think he would feel as much of a responsibility to literally take up the torch. I think he would just think of himself as somebody, spreading the message about the Matrix and this and that and whatever. But I don't think that he would feel the weight on his shoulders to be that guy. He definitely he definitely always wanted to be that. But I don't know that, or I guess I would say I would expect that, hearing it directly from your hero that, okay, now you need to do all of the things, that could not have done well for his mindset.
He said he passed me the torch. It's not going to be easy, but they won't die out because truth will always prevail.
Wow, inspiring. This would skyrocket.
Prevail or prevail? Pretty sure he said prevail, but whatever.
Sneako's career. In a lot of ways, he was Tate's successor. His growth became tied to Tate's success. So that means that Sneako has to side with Andrew Tate on every point, all the time. For instance, Andrew Tate gets investigated for sex trafficking. It's an ongoing case, so I can't blame people for picking sides and coming to their own conclusion. However, I think when it comes out that Andrew Tate is holding women's passports so they can't leave, we could all be a little critical of that. Surely.
Hold on, did Tate, wait, I think did Tate actually say he took their passports? Yes, he did say that. Okay, so that's how they can't leave then. He actually takes the passports. He probably lies and he says it's for tax reasons. I think you're glazing right now, bro.
They could have asked for it back. They kicked out many women. Destiny, do you not hear about the podcast you have selected here? You don't hear about how many times these women were acting up and they kicked him out because they didn't know how to obey?
He's such a simp for Andrew Tate. He cheers Candace Owens on when she says he's probably not a rapist.
Ran in an article last night was a transcript of a woman basically saying that she didn't want to get a tattoo. Allegedly, all of the girls that Andrew Tate is with, they have a tattoo of his name on their body.
The fact that you're watching this with bated breath, like, oh, come on. Oh, come on. Number one, like, yes, Candace is an influential person. But, like, what do you think is going to happen by Candace Owens saying, well, I don't really think this is a big deal? Like, that means nothing in the grand scheme of things. I mean, this may be part of the pandering, that just playing up how much you actually care about this absolute nothing burger.
And she says, no, I want to like keep my body pure. And he's like, well, I'm paraphrasing here. If you're going to be with me, your body belongs to me. And you need to get this tattoo.
We got to get this.
I do not find that to be evidence that he is a rapist.
Candace Owens in
Why?
the chat.
Really? This is what he's clapping for? The bar is set that low, huh? Tate is forcing at best his employees and at worst trafficked women to get his name tattooed on them, and we're just ignoring that. But it's not evidence that he raped anyone. Woo! Classic Tate W.
Now, I will say that I get a very lefty type of vibe. Not very lefty, but a strong, passive liberal type of mentality from this guy. But, that's fine. Just putting it out there.
Andrew, wait in the chat. Candace Owens would then explain how her friend talked to Tate at a dinner party years ago.
She spent a lot of the time that we were there talking to him, right? They were having a conversation. He spoke to her. And at the end of this dinner, as I am not paying attention because I've got butterflies in my stomach and I'm falling in love with my husband, she comes over to me afterwards and she says, this guy, Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania. I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania. And I'm sitting here going, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You notice the difference in how men are treated now? Pimps back in the 70s used to be extremely respected men. Pimps used to be looked at and revered because they were an example of people who were self-governing, who controlled a lot, they were powerful.
Like how
that mentality is like the level of rationalization that you have to get to say that in the 70s, when the governmental structure and the political the political structure was very different, that there were some individual pimps who were doing all of the horrible shit. I forgot we were already cursing on this one. We passed that ship has sailed. But pimps were always doing nasty shit, and then sometimes they would spread the money around to the community. To take that fact, that sometimes that happened, to then say, well, pimps used to be respected in society, and now look at all of this. This is terrible. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Dave Mann says, pimps were never respected. The fuck is he on about? I have no idea. Pimps were always seen as grimy and gross. That's the cope. That's the cope. He has to believe, because he can't say that Andrew Tate is not a pimp, so he has to believe that pimping is good. It ain't easy, but it's good, according to Sneako.
How is this his takeaway? Do some critical thinking for 1 second. I wonder why Andrew Tate has been lying, going on all these podcasts saying he isn't doing this webcam shit anymore.
About the webcam business. I'm not even in that. I haven't been in that business in like 6 years.
When he still is. It wasn't until he was arrested people realized he was still doing this shit, lying the whole time. Sneako, just like everybody else, was lied to. He had no idea.
Tate and Tristan, they don't do the webcam business anymore because the message is bigger.
Is it
The Tates got rich by pimping. They didn't have an audience. Now they do, and they're off to better things.
Well, they're still pimping, and Sneako hasn't said a word about it. I understand that Andrew Tate hasn't been found guilty yet, but Sneako isn't even the least bit critical. He sucks his dick at every opportunity, defending him over every small criticism. Andrew Tate gets made fun of for his terrible music.
That's me. Big bosses.
I did not know that Andrew Tate had music. Oh my God. The first thing we are doing in Discord tonight is watching this Andrew Tate music video. Oh my. Wow. I did not know that was a thing. Link in the description. If one of the mods could drop the link to Discord, that is where the after party is. Definitely come check that out. We got some comments here. Tate said, David Banner says, Tate isn't a, quote, Tate isn't a pimp. And if he was, it's because he was an alpha. He was a great pimp. Yup. No Freedom says, don't watch it. Why not? Why not? Well, maybe if you join the Discord, then you have a little bit of say what we do in there, bro.
Mr. Plenty.
It stunk. It was annoying. It was basic as hell.
Yeah. This is Anthony Fantano. He's a big music YouTuber. And I guess this was his reaction to it. And then, of course, Sneako had to watch that and stick up for him.
The song sucks ass. It's awful. But watch how Sneako defends his boy.
You know what? I don't think you should be able to fucking make music reviews if you can't make a song yourself.
Anthony Fantano has a extensive music resume. Harley says, if Andrew wasn't rich, he would not get girls. That is wrong. That is so very, 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 very wrong. He is a attractive dude. He is a tall dude. He is in shape, and he has fighting skills. And more importantly than anything else, he has the ability to talk. He has the ability to talk. That is how he became the person that he was. I would argue, hot take here. I would argue that his money is actually the least important thing in terms of, when it comes to dating. Now, it's certainly important. But if you are a kickboxing champion, you look good, and you know how to talk, what else are most average women looking for?
You've never made a song. What the fuck do you know about music?
And then legitimately, the next day, Sneako Pearl clutches and cries about Critical's music.
Promoting drugs.
I got my balls, slap my face.
Okay, you see the Antichrist on his forehead?
Wait, MoistCr1TiKaL has music too? What should I be making? I mean, I already have music, but should I be making new music? What's going on?
Upside down cross? What is that? And this is the reason I started believing in God. When people that look like this start promoting Satanism,
just looking at it, it seems like over the top and a joke. I don't know. Yeah, and Biologic Sneako should make content about alphas because he isn't one. He should make red pill content when he himself is part of the Matrix. Spot on.
Okay, promoting Sneako.
Is he real? This guy's such a loser. He's gargling Andrew Tate's balls. Don't make fun of Mr. Tate's music unless you make music. Andrew Tate is the best. Meanwhile, he's crying like a Christian soccer mom over a joke song. I don't get it. Aren't you that?
Okay, see? I saw 2 seconds of that, and it was very obvious that it was a joke. But because... oh my God, he's such a cuck. Oh my God. All right.
Edgy joke guy. The fact that you take this shit so literally is embarrassing.
What is it? Is it supposed to be funny?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna do exactly that. Yes.
Supposed to be degenerate?
Yes, that's the joke.
Did he get a call from someone on Epstein's Island to promote Satanism?
This guy wanted to be a comedian, yet joke police is Charlie. Pick a lane, dude. He then gets mad because Charlie says he's buffer than Sneako. So Sneako, being the brave man that he is, wants to fight 5'6" Charlie.
I'm not calling him small. I'm saying he has no muscles. He's probably taller than me, no doubt.
Yeah.
This is how you handle this. This is how you handle this as a short king.
But hit the gym. Andrew Tate preaches getting a better physique.
You really body watching right now? You're body shaming, but you can't fight, pussy? How do you go body shaming and you scared of a fight? You got nothing to talk about. I'm not watching your fucking clips. Tell that to your chat. Let's pull up. Were you in Tampa? Say that shit to my face. I ain't watching no clips on Twitch on a bot platform. I know you listening to me right now. You in Tampa? Tell that shit to my face. If you really stand on it. If you're a real man, stand on it and tell me to my face.
To the guy, do you still have me unmuted on Rumble, Sneako? To the Rumbler that said I'm built like SpongeBob? Hey, yeah, when he had anchor arms, baby. Look at that.
Aw, is Sneako hurt again? His comedy sucks, by the way.
I didn't say that as an insult. I always ask girls, what do you mean by fuckboy? What does that mean? It means like you look like you don't text back. You look like you play with girls' emotions for sex. Thank you. At least I'm not a nerd anymore.
It's a buffet. You don't just get to choose which ones to follow, which ones to go. You gotta stay consistent. You know, I think everybody has these preconceived perceptions and they follow that and they stick to that. You gotta think outside the box, man. And you see how uncomfortable the room is now? I'm talking about God and stuff like that. Is that okay? I feel like a lot of you, I don't know, we're just kind of dying, you know? Feel the optimism. Chatting in the back.
Is the stand-up comedy?
Oh man, that was hard to watch. I had never seen his stand-up. I had assumed that he'd been talking about doing comedy since before he went into live streaming and when he was still doing these thoughtful video essays. I just would have assumed that he would have gained some skills over the years, but apparently not.
Or a TED Talk.
But think about it, come on, like that lady down south, the pink lot, she's probably gonna be homophobic, right? And we always act surprised when they go on TV, they say something and they get fired. Like, what did you think that she thought, this lady down south? You think that she was gonna have some progressive beliefs about gender norms and about homophobia? No. Like, if my daughter Sal, she's trans, I'll be fine with it. That's not how they think. Just like you guys up here think that there's 40 genders.
Let's see what the judges think.
I just don't really, I kind of stopped following. Yeah, that's basically what I'm at. Yeah. Right.
I stopped following halfway through. What a loser! On screen with two women who I'm sure he would say, "Oh, women can't do comedy."
So I gotta ask how many genders are there? How many genders are there? You sure?
Yo, when the judge is funnier than Sneako's comedy routine.
I'll never be cool. Don't get what I want, I'm a noob. I'm way lamer than you, I'll never be cool.
I just want to reiterate how much of a bitch this guy is. He's somebody that will act all tough, but as soon as somebody steps up to the plate, he shifts the goalpost. For instance,
one more time, I just want to shout out Willie Mack for doing this. This is a great video. Please go check out his channel. The video is linked in the description. I really do appreciate him putting all this together for us.
Since he gets a video made on him by Mr. Beard, who didn't want to debate Sneako live. So Sneako, even though he couldn't refute any points, twisted into being a victory.
This guy's, look at him bottom left, another one of the fucking faggots who are afraid to debate.
Berkey Tom then makes a video on Sneako, and Sneako challenged him to a debate. Only this time, Tom accepts the debate. Sneako then ghosted Tom with his excuse being that he wants to go on a bigger streamer show. Sneako then gets into a fight with Charlie, and Charlie has a bigger audience than him too. So Sneako has to shift the goalpost yet again to where Charlie has to meet him in real life. Otherwise, it's just another classic Sneako W.
Chat, I'm not reacting to a stream. This guy's pissed me off, and you can tell him this. I want to meet him in person. 17K Rumble W. W's in the chat, not only for this guy being a fucking pussy.
So let's see what the hold on. Let's back this up while he's saying this. I want to see
W.
What the chat is saying. So we got he's 5'3", he's 5'3", he's 5'3". Now when W Sneako. MoistCr1TiKaL is an F slur. MoistCr1TiKaL, same one thing. Duncan Hahn, W Sneako. Cuties, question mark. Fentanyl Jesus is hilarious. I'm gonna assume that's who they're talking about.
Chat, I'm not reacting to a stream. This guy's pissed.
Then we got Andrew, help me lose weight. Okay. Keep yelling at him. Sneako wanted to talk. What? You can't be serious. I'm sorry your dad went to jail. I'm sorry your dad went to jail. What? MoistCr1TiKaL, 5'4" and 130 pounds. Laughing face. Cucked and closeted gay. MoistCr1TiKaL damage. Oh, snap. With all the emojis. He's coping. I think I agree if you're talking about Sneako.
Piss me off, and you can tell him this. I want to meet him in person. 17K Rumble W. W's in the chat, not only for this guy being a fucking pussy, but also for the fact that I just lapped you on Rumble.
Yeah.
So, come on. I want to see that last.
W's in the chat, not only for this guy being a fucking pussy, but also for the fact that I just lapped you on Rumble.
All right, so let's see anything here. Don't listen to these boys in the chat. Take a shover, losers. Don't listen. Why do they do that? Why do they just spam the same thing 4 or 5 times? Beat meat on cuties, then get on Rumble, then repeat. It's bigger than politics. We're at war. This soy boy is deep in the matrix, controlled by being afraid of a ban. L Twitch F slurs. Like, bro, this is so cringe. This cannot, his audience cannot be made up of anything else than 12-year-olds. Because if there's fully grown adults not only watching this, But cheering it on and giving him money for this, that's got to be mommy's credit card. I'm sorry. That is pathetic. Guys, can we get 2 more likes, please? Come on, please.
Yeah, man, you get like 20K views a video. It's not impressive. And then finally, when Brandon Buckingham is down to meet Sneako, he's there to box him. They're both similar sizes. Sneako would now rather just sit at home and tell jokes behind his computer.
I'd rather sit at home and yell at the camera and tell jokes than, risk my manhood falling flat for Brandon Buckingham, if I lose the fight.
So now it's suddenly cool to just stay at home and keep it all online. You know what? I'm realizing the people Sneako's down to fight, it's coming off as a bit pussy to me. He's down to fight 2 women.
Me and you, we get in the cage. Who's winning in a fight? Monica, I just want to take your bun in a fist and then slam it down like I'm mashing butter. Your dumb mouth that I want to...
Like, where is his friends telling him, like, hey, I get what you're doing, but, like, maybe you want to pump the brakes a little bit. Where are the friends to tell him that? And I heard him saying something along the lines of, the fact that he doesn't have any friends. And so his stream is his whole life. And, I mean, I kind of can relate to that. I don't really have too many close friends. And I do very much, I spend way more time with you guys than anybody else in the world. But also, like, touch some grass, bro. Yeah, so they keep spamming the same stuff because they want their hero to acknowledge his comment and read it on stream. How sad is that? Just to let you know, and mods, hope you're paying attention, that if people start doing that, we ain't playing that here. If you have something to say, you can say it. If it's good, I will respond to it. If it's not, then sorry.
It's something. And I'm learning and I'm growing. I did not mean to say that I would grab her bun and smash her head up and down like I'm mashing butter onto my crotch.
Charlie, who's...
He says he doesn't have friends. Men who talk to and talk about women like that don't tend to get women. Again, unfortunately, they do get women. That's the problem. They do get women. They don't have a lot of friends because men don't want to hang out with them. But they did, yeah. The thoughts are all there. Okay, fair enough. If we're making that distinction, not women, but thoughts. And all right, fair enough. Fair enough.
5'6".
I could beat the shit out of Penguin Zero. He knows it. You pussy to meet in real life. God damn, I need some W's for that, bro.
D'Angelo Wallace, who's a 5'7" gay man and whose only interaction with Sneako was leaving a mean comment.
You bum, you Lil Tekka Ellen looking at you fucking weirdo. Just another gay nerd with glasses who's probably talks the same way and snitches on people. D'Angelo Wallace, you got me feeling some type of way, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
You got me feeling some type of way. Alpha behavior.
Those glasses, this one little bit.
This is, again, where is somebody saying, like, bro, I understand where you're trying to go, but this is cringe. I hope if I ever get to this point, I need you all to make fun of me so much and so bad that I never, ever, ever think of doing it again. What does it say on screen? Alpha male Sneako is very comfortable challenging gay men to boxing match, but he's afraid to box me. I guess this is from the Brandon boxer dude. Ask yourself why that might be.
You want to box me, bro? Let's do a 1v1 boxing match. You say I belong to the streets. Yeah, I belong to the streets. We can walk this out on the streets. We can do it in the ring, bro. Let's box.
And Ethan Klein, who, look at him. Yeah, I feel really tough around these people too, Sneako. It really takes a big man to act the way you do.
You fat lying piece of shit. I would beat the fuck out of you, Ethan Klein. If you said that about me, you lied to my name to my face. Let's get in the ring. Stop talking shit about me and let's box.
Oh yeah, that's a top G attitude right there. Wanting to fight these people? Tough. Wanting to fight somebody your own size who's also training to box? Nah, man, let's just leave it online. Let's leave it to online debate.
If I was any more inbred, I'd be a sandwich.
Sneako's motto is to seek truth through funny.
My motto for the stream is seek truth through funny. I believe in, ultimately, I think my philosophy is comedy is funny. I think if you follow that, you can never really be derailed.
Yeah, this guy's real deep. It would be a great motto, except he never seeks the truth about anything. He usually just makes shit up and then repeats it as if it's the truth. Honest to God, this guy thinks that working out will get you banned on YouTube.
He's gonna turn into like another Sneako. He's just gonna be banned from everything. He just needs to fucking save himself. It's good that he's working out.
Isn't it funny how they know that working out and becoming better will get you banned?
That's not even what Hassan said. He just says these made up things all the time. And like, when is this happening?
That's how, when you get lost in the sauce, there's everything, you view the world through a certain lens, and everything that you see and hear goes through that lens. This is the problem with the people that he's talking about are in the Matrix. The leftist mentality is that everything has to be viewed through oppression and victimhood. The religious mentality is everything has to be viewed through the lens of, well, what does God want? Is it and this and that? And for Sneako, everything is framed through, how am I being persecuted? So this is why I don't think that he's like a straight up grifter, but that it's more pandering.
One time. He can't because it's not true.
Yo, is this person retarded? Yes, she's retarded. Is that the answer you're looking for? She's retarded?
Yes, it's comedy. It's funny. I think if you follow that, you can never really be derailed.
Even worse is he is the
Yes, you can, though, can't you?
most painfully unfunny person I've ever had the displeasure of watching. This video took so long to make because he is so boring to watch. His main thing is telling people he's funny, because that's what funny people do, right?
Because what I'm good at is the message. I'm good at speaking to a camera. I can crack some jokes and stuff like that. Ha!
Are you though?
Ah! You know what I'm saying? I'm good at entertaining you.
Are you though?
Wow. His best bit is putting an L in front of someone's name when he dislikes them.
Larandon, Luckingham, Lasanabi, L3, Ethan Decline.
It's not even a good roast, and he had to steal this from Gideon. You know what? Actually, the joke's good. It's kind of growing on me. Because you'd be Liko. Like when you cried to Brandon because he made fun of your cuck open relationship.
To my surprise, Sneako FaceTimed me literally crying like he had just seen the worst shit in his life. He's got tears rolling down his face because I said some stuff about his girlfriend and said I'd knock him out. What? You're crying? Are you serious?
Even when he's winning, he'd be Wiko. But what if somebody's stupid? Like really stupid. They'd be Sneako.
Yo, is this person retarded?
Leave Rico alone.
So no, his philosophy is seek truth through funny. And that apparently is not a good philosophy.
A toast to the bad guy. The bad bitches, the bad times will pass by.
Yeah, I like Sneako because he really is just looking out for guys like me. Being online, there's a lot of false or at the very least exaggerated sexual assault allegations, and Rico is very passionate about the subject.
Real talk, chat. That they, them, blue hair, whatever the fuck, feminist should go to jail. You should go to jail for lying about that. It should be, I don't even know about is it a felony to lie about a felony? She should spend the night in jail.
I agree. All right, we're getting back to the content that I agree with. All right, Sneako. False allegations, especially of felonies, should be handled very seriously.
But she won't because she's a woman.
I agree. Every year online, we see false allegations that do real harm to people's careers, and the accusers face zero repercussions. Yep. And it ultimately makes it harder for the real victims to come forward. But what if I told you Sneako has accused his critics of doing those exact same things simply because he doesn't like them?
Oh, you know who's an L-mans? Brandon Buckingham.
Oh, yeah.
Did he just say, you know who's an L-mans? If he was 15, and this is just how the Gen Zs are talking, then whatever. Bro, you're a grown-ass man. L-mans? You know who's an L-mans? Brandon Buckingham.
I'm gonna, bro, literally said, I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend.
Danny!
Yeah. Literally said that. This dude said he is going to R-word my girlfriend. Bro, nothing warrants saying I'm going to R-word your girlfriend. That's some school shooter vibes, bro. Literally, word for word. I'm going to R-word your girlfriend on his fucking public Instagram story.
Brandon never said that. In fact, he didn't even allude to it.
Saying you're going to R-word my girlfriend? He said that? Yes. Yes.
No. Brandon Buckingham got in a pissing match with Sneako.
What does it say? I can't read this. So come watch me. Lick shots, busting the whole game. Gonna run train. Oh yeah. So the line here is the whole game. This is from Charlie, sending to Sneako, and the line here being the whole gang is gonna run the train on her like she asked us to.
DMs. So Brandon said he was going to run a train on his girl because Sneako was in an open relationship at the time.
Saying that you lied and said that
This is bad.
Said he wanted to R-word your girlfriend.
He said he wanted to pull up and run a train on my girl. He said me and the whole gang we're gonna run a train on your girl.
Okay, but you said that. You said he said he R-word her. That's two different things.
The silence, bro.
Yeah, pulling up with the gang and saying you're gonna run a train on my girl, who obviously not attracted to him. That's an R-word, though.
The literal sentence said, "like she asked us to." So maybe I ain't your girl.
Bro, but you can't just throw the R-word out like that. Like, bro, that's like false accusations.
Yep.
Okay, so what does that mean? Like, me and the gang are gonna pull up and run a train on your girl. What is that?
Well, that's like me saying, like, bro, if you keep on talking shit, I'm gonna fuck your bitch. That doesn't mean like I'm actually gonna do it. It's just talking shit.
Okay, talking shit by threatening R-word.
That's not the same as R-word, and like
Nope.
I'm not gonna agree with that.
Nope.
Oh, okay, maybe not.
Dude is literally admitting
Okay, maybe not. I guess. Another L.
to falsely accusing Brandon.
For all the guys who were falsely accused of shit they didn't do by bitches who were lying like you, go to jail right now. Feel bad. I know you won't. I know you're watching this too, bro. It's nice having like a little bit of clout now because they all watch this. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes, Nico, you should. Guys, if you're checking out the replay, you can see exactly why this has been demonetized. So super thanks are very, very, very much appreciated.
Think about all the women who actually got SA'd. And now the next time that's going to happen, the next time the cops show up, maybe they're going to give them a hard time.
It wouldn't be consensual. Like, she doesn't want that. And he lied and said, like, my girl, like, she was giving me the eyes at dinner and stuff like that. I'm going to
He did. He said, like the last time, she asked us to.
pull up and, like, gangbang with it, run a train on her. And he was threatening me with that. Like, maybe it wasn't R-word, but he was threatening me with that. And it's like, my girl would not be down to do that.
This was the same girl that was cucking him, banging other dudes right in front of him. She would take him to sex parties and he would sit there crisscross applesauce as some dude pounds his girl on the same bed.
So we go in there with the mentality that whatever happens inside that party just stays at the party. Like, yeah. And so I saw her.
And so now I'm going to talk about it on a podcast in front of however many people. It says, weird how he folded so easy when Gideon said, I'm not co-signing that. When that was something he tried so hard to stains Brandon's reputation with. Yeah. I mean, when you're caught, you're caught. You know, these people will take it as far as they can, but at a certain point, it's just like, well, no, he did say that. Like, now you're just straight up, like, straight up bald-faced lying. I mean, there's a difference between exaggerating and using words that, like, make it a big deal and being caught in the inaccuracy and then just bald-faced lying. There's a little bit about, it's a little different. It's a little different. And yeah, I mean, shout out to Gideon for doing that.
I've seen her fuck other men. I wanted to break this down, like, because this was, imagine seeing the girl you love, like, get fucked. You love her? Yeah, I do. I love her. Yeah, I love her. I was about to say I love this bitch. I'm like, no, I'm not say that. I love my wifey, my queen.
And you allow the love of your life to get fucked by another man. So can she enjoy it? Like, what if she's enjoying it too much?
That's the thing. Like it's like she's moaning pretty loud. Like, I don't know, like, how much you. I didn't expect you to take that loud.
The 30% comes from Europe. 30%. What were we talking about? So No Freedom says when more than 30% of men are raising children. So I missed a lot of this, but Holly says 30% comes from Europe. That was an old guess as to what it could be, but after they did research, they found the number is actually 1 to 2% of what? What are we talking about?
She's more loud.
So all right, so we went on two different. Okay, hold on. We went on two different occasions. The first time, as soon as I saw like 3 pumps in, I just got up and walked out. I'm just like,
and you went back because.
I can't do that.
But then he went back and watched it happen again.
It should be fair that she can take other dick if I'm fucking other pussy. Like,
Equality.
That's balance. So if it's gonna happen, I might as well see it, supervise it, make sure everything's okay.
What?
This is the twisted mentality that, well, if I'm gonna be doing this, that should. How about you both just be monogamous with each other? If you don't want to do that, then don't call her your girl. Don't fall in love. It's that simple. That's hilarious. Imagining Red Pill Man deciphering his girl's moans to mean that she's enjoying herself a little too much. Yep, I would not want to be in that situation. And for that reason, I would never put myself in that situation.
No, you didn't have to jump to that conclusion.
Well, it's worse if she happens behind my back. Like, I don't want it.
It's not.
Is it though?
Y'all both knowing that it's happening. So it's never behind your back anymore. You just got to know.
I got to see it.
You don't need to be literally in front of you.
It was literally like this far away from me.
Can you? What?
So, twice, yeah.
Hold on. Wait, how close was it?
We're on the same bed.
Were you fucking his girl?
I was not fucking with her.
So you just sat there Indian style with your feet crossed.
So you're telling me Sneako's girl, who bangs other guys all the time as Sneako watches, wouldn't hook up with Brandon?
And when I was out at dinner with Sneako and his girlfriend in New York, she was flirting with everyone very hard.
That's a good point. If she's willing to get down with the get down, then why wouldn't she be willing to get down with a boxer?
Making it entirely apparent she was fair game and was seemingly down to hook up, but
you go.
none of us reciprocated this
Bro, clean your room. What is all this? What is this?
behavior.
Okay, maybe not, but it wouldn't be consensual. Like, she doesn't want that. And he lied and said, like, my girl, like, she was giving me the eyes at dinner and stuff like that.
And she grabbed this, she's like, I want you to fuck me. I was like, whoa.
What? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Brandon on this one. I think that's something she'd do. Sneako is a cuck, but did you know he's also mentally cucked as well? We've already seen how Sneako will take brain-dead stances, such as Hitler is not a Nazi, and that seatbelts will make you more unsafe. He does this because he's not his own man. He has to pander to the red pill. Well, this extends into his relationship with Nick Fuentes. Nick is a far-right political voice, and also, according to Sneako, his friend.
Hey, what's up? This is my new friend, Nick Fuentes.
Throughout the
Well, yeah, I'm Nick Fuentes, and I just, don't think that race fixing is a good idea. That's just what it is.
stream, Nick would defend his extreme views, stuff that literally goes against Sneako's existence.
How do you feel about interracial marriages?
I'm against it.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you believe in mixed love?
Mixed love, man. Love is love, bro. I love my snow bunnies. I love my
Hey,
Latino. love my Asian girls. Nick Fuentes, man.
I gotta ask, Nick, how do you feel when you see a black guy just getting with the snow bunnies? Like, is that something that like rustles your jimmies?
She's gonna get BBC'd, Nick. Your white girl's gonna get BBC'd.
Well, the problem is all these white girls always end up getting their ass kicked and left behind. That's what typically happens. What?
Are you asking by who?
My black boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Whoa. Whoa. I didn't understand what he was saying. I watched this stream too. I'm entertained by Nick Fuentes. I agree that he's a little roach, but I'm absolutely entertained by the ideas he puts out and how people react to them. But he says some wild shit, and I did not hear this last time.
Left behind. That's what typically happens. All these white girls always end up getting their ass kicked.
All these white girls end up getting their ass kicked. Like, what do you mean? Like, they're not doing well? Like, they're not scoring high on something? What are you talking about?
and left behind. That's what typically happens. What?
Are you asking by who?
My black boyfriend.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to say we out here beating these white women? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, that is something that happens. Maybe not you guys. You guys.
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
Here's the thing, Nick says stuff that is funny, but it's not jokes. He really does mean it.
I covered a story about this on my show a couple weeks ago, but that's not the only thing. Here's the thing. I'm halfway kidding about that. The thing is,
see, and when he says stuff like that, again, David, I disagree. I think you underestimate how crazy some people are. If you just think about the fact that you know who Nick Fuentes is, that means that, grift or not, there is enough people who care about his message to elevate him to the status where you know who he is. So to think that somebody couldn't actually think this way is just wrong. I mean, I've seen nothing that shows that, again, him going down this road. Like, if you're going to be a grifter, why would you go in the direction that's going to get you canceled from everything? So again, maybe a little bit of pandering, maybe a little bit of playing up the message, but I think he's dead serious.
And I was explaining this to Sneako.
Halfway.
Is what?
Halfway.
Halfway. Here you go. So I said, yeah, like, I'm against race mixing. Like I said to you guys right now, I said, yeah, I don't approve of that.
Nick Fuentes has been hanging out with Kanye a lot, and Sneako agrees with Ye about everything. So it's not rare for them to be fueling Jewish conspiracies.
And organized crime around the world. That's how they're able to funnel money from the U.S. government.
We don't call her our resident fact checker for no reason. Harley is on point.
To like organized crime, to the cartels, to all kinds of shady things, terrorism that goes on in the world. That's a huge part of the problem globally is shadow banking.
And who's behind it?
Well, we talked about it, Sneako. A lot of Jews. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it's true.
He thinks black people, on average, are biologically dumber than everyone else.
I told Sneako this. We call this race realism, okay, which is to say that race is real. Like, it's not fake. It's not skin deep. Race is real. There are different races, and there's meaningful differences. And one of the things is that, on average, the races have different IQs. And so, on average, Asians have the highest IQ, and on average, blacks have the lowest IQ. And that's why I told Sneako, And no, that's average. Okay, it's not. I'm not saying black people are dumb. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when you average it out,
you're kind of saying that.
He is definitely kind of saying that.
I'm not. I'm saying on average. Well, I'm saying on average. On average, there's differences between the IQs. So I believe there are black geniuses like Kanye West. I think he's a black genius, but there's fewer black geniuses than there are Asian geniuses, as an example.
It's not about the color of your skin or your race. It's about your morality. It's about your decision making. What's right? What's wrong? How do you treat other people?
Right.
Isn't that what it all comes down to?
That's what it should all come down to. But the problem is that people who think that way and happen to be I don't want to be offensive, but honestly, just happen to be intelligent, critical thinkers and searching for the truth may possibly find an ideology that doesn't allow them to believe in a religion. And so now you have religious people and you have non-religious people with similar values. And then you have a third group of non-religious people with different values. And now these groups are kind of, just equal in terms of how much power they have, how much messaging, how powerful their messaging is. But if the religious people and the non-religious people who have their same values started working together, then it would be very obvious who the degenerates of society are. Right now, depends on who you ask.
Well, I mean, you could say that, but the thing is that, human beings have a tendency to fight with each other. And you can say that, we could say that sitting down here, but what happens what would happen if you and I were living in the same house? That's the kind of concept. When you and I are on a Discord call, we're sort of strangers, and we're talking about ideas, that's great. But what if we're living in the same house and there's a fight over, who gets to shower when, and who gets this seat on the couch, and these are the kinds of things that happen in a dense.
Wait, do you think you'd fight with him because he's black over that?
I wouldn't fight about stuff like that. And
hold on. I want to hear the answer to this question.
Well, yeah. Would you fight more with a black person over who gets to use the shower?
Yes. And here's why.
What do people side with in prison? White people stick with the white people, black people stick with black people, and they're obviously going to fight a white person. A black person going to fight with a white person, and a white person going to fight with a black person over the shower.
Hold on. Why are we talking about?
What? Is he talking about prison? I thought we were talking about roommates.
Why are we talking about prison?
Because prison is where people gang up. That's when we don't have Discord, and that's where people act in their natural state. People are very likely to.
Prison is literally the least natural place you can be. You're literally locked in there with more rules than any other part of society.
Fighting for your survival.
You do think black and white people being together is degenerate. You do think that Jews secretly run the world. You do think that they're race realism is a foundational belief of your structure.
And he actually believes that Sneako's existence is a product of this degeneracy.
Because you're right. I am a race realist, and I do believe these kinds of things.
Yet at the end of the call, this is what Sneako has to say about someone who thinks he shouldn't even exist.
Y'all ready? After all of that,
What's your opinion? Nick and I have a very similar worldview. Nick believes a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. Nick really, if I listen to this whole call, I don't think he said anything that makes you want to cancel him. I think he's a good guy. He's saying, hey, I love everybody. Is he really being that exclusionary?
Yo, that's crazy. Sneako, I'm not even gonna lie. If he had his way and he had, first off, you wouldn't even exist because you're the basis of an interracial marriage. So whatever kind of prescriptive ideas that he's got for the world, you are literally an individual that wouldn't exist in it.
Mentally cucked.
In a constant state of fear and misery. Do we understand anymore?
Sneako is actually a really sad case because even though
and David's absolutely right. And this is the another example of the mental gymnastics that he has to do to maintain his freaky ideology. It's hilarious. Thinking a person is natural and exactly how humans really want to interact with each other.
What? Stupid.
So going back to fathers and raising children that aren't theirs, apparently Harley has found the information. In the early 1970s, a school teacher in Southern England assigned a class science project in which his students were to find out the blood types of their parents. All right, so that's the start of the story. We'll dive back in and come back when she's got the rest.
Will brag about his financial success and how much more popular he is.
I've made more money in the past 2 months than I made in the past 3 years. I'm doing well. And I got there last year by going from broke to a millionaire in 2022.
Are you still a millionaire? Probably not.
Biggest year of my life, craziest year of my life, cancellation, all that. Started with 1 million subscribers, ended with no YouTube channel but $1 million.
He's actually lost a lot. His views have dropped dramatically after not even hitting 10K. He talks about the red pill and bots so much, his family doesn't even invite him over for Christmas anymore.
This was the first Christmas I didn't go home because of my association with Ye. because Ye was talking about they called him anti-Semitic, they lied about him, and so my association with the people that you want to have on a panel like Nick Fuentes and Ye that pushed me away. They're like, we don't want you to talk about this.
All he's got to do is act like a normal person while home for the holidays, and he can't. He's got to talk about how they're vaccinated and they voted for Biden.
Wait, so like your mom?
My family, just like my whole family,
Really, your whole family?
yeah. All vaccinated, all.
So this is something that is, relatively close to me because my family pretty much not disowned me, but pushed me away during when all this was going down. But I just have to assume that with Sneako, because of the degree to which he was riding all of this, that he is the one who pushed his family away rather than his family pushing him away. So before we dive back in, No Freedoms was saying that studies don't do anything and whatever. We got a bunch of studies here about fathers and raising children that aren't theirs. Always says in the early 1970s, a school teacher in Southern England assigned a class science project in which his students were to find out the blood types of their parents. The students were then to use this information to deduce their own blood types, because a gene from each parent determines your blood type. In most instances, only a certain number of a certain number of combinations are possible. Instead, 30% of the students discovered that their dads were not biologically their fathers. What? That is crazy. That's where the 30% came from. So that is one study of one classroom of a really, 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 really weird and anomalous thing. So if we were focusing a little bit more on this, Harley definitely dropped a ton of information saying that the idea that 30% of men are raising children that aren't theirs is ridiculous. But we are just good to know, not relevant to this discussion. But, when it's brought up, we want to address it. And then we just get a LOL, yeah, no. Brilliant rebuttal. Brilliant rebuttal. Oh no, my button stopped working.
Biden voters, all Ukraine,
Stop it. Can you red pill some of them?
I think we all have at least one family member that doesn't know how to shut up and act normal while home for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Well, Sneako is that guy.
And I still love them, of course, and I'm sure they still love me, but the reason is like they just wouldn't be able to handle a conversation at the dinner table because, woke people don't know how to have discourse. They don't know how to disagree healthily. They get so emotionally involved and they want to live in their delusion. They want to be like the fat girl who's saying, I'm perfect the way I am.
Ah, there it is. You know what? There's something poetic about Sneako. By embracing the red pill and eating that taint, Sneako was able to become rich.
My life has started to change for the better. I made more money last 2 months than I made in the past 2 years.
But in return, he's lost his YouTube channel, his girlfriend cucked him, now he's spending the holidays alone.
A good community around me. I've been saying in my chat, that's why my Rumble stream is doing so well. Like my chat's my family. That's what I look forward to every single night. It's New Year's.
That's bad. That's bad. Now, I love coming to hang out with you guys. But if that is the only thing you have in your life, that's not good. Now, with a normal job, it's not good for your career to be the only thing in your life. But sometimes, it depends on what you're doing, and it might just take a lot of your time. But if you're just sitting around reacting to videos and talking to a camera, then there's really no reason that you shouldn't be able to have other values in hobbies in your life. Like, what is it that you do when you're not on stream? You just sit and just, I wonder whatever I probably sit in Discord. Guys, how do I respond to Destiny? Oh man. Like, David Banner is absolutely correct. He radicalized himself. And in the process, radicalized, I don't know, hundreds of thousands. Maybe not hundreds of thousands, but maybe hundreds of thousands of young men as well. Was it worth it?
Eve, and I'm just excited to get on stream, see all the same usernames that I see. I talk to them all the time. So that's the family right now. That's who I spend the most time with.
Bro,
that is sad.
This is sad. All the money in the world, living in Miami, and his chat is all he's got. The dude's literally the Scrooge.
In this lonely. And so again, I want to stress that it's not like you guys aren't a big deal to me, especially as a smaller channel. Each and every one of you the contributions you make, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's likes, whether it's anything else, matters so much to me. So don't take that the wrong way. They're like, oh, I don't give a shit about you guys. It's not at all what we're doing here. But in the same way that if this channel just disappeared, you would go on with your life. Like, you wouldn't cry about it. You have other things in your life. You have family, you have friends, you have work, you have hobbies. We have to remember, especially at Sneako's size, this is his job. So when he's getting so emotionally entangled in his job, and his job is to do things that can get him very easily get him in a position where he can't do that job, not a good deal. Not a good deal. Guys, we haven't gotten a like in about an hour. If we could do that, I would be so very happy.
Painful life.
Yeah.
There's only pain.
I actually want to end this video by finding some common ground with Sneako, because he has said one thing that I agree with.
The alpha male. I know I'm not. I've never fucking once called myself that.
One other thing I want to bring up is Sneako's list. It's just a bunch of people that have bullied him in the past.
Hey, look at the soy boy collage. We added 2 to the top. Did you guys see there's another hippies video on me from another soy boy?
Imagine getting bullied by this guy. Well, I want to introduce my cuck boy list. Sneako is the only guy I know that wants 5 wives but can't seem to get one.
That's insecurity. I'm deeply afraid of somebody calling me a pussy.
You're a pussy. There, I helped you overcome your fear. Shout out to the bots over on Patreon. Phoebes Crimson Glass up.
All right, so that was one. And then we have a slightly different one here that it kind of goes a little bit harder. And it's a little bit more like the editing of this one is really I really like it, and it also kind of spans a little bit more of his career and kind of looks at the entirety of his career and not just what went wrong at the later ends. David says, see, with Tate, at least you can say he walked it like he talked it. But Sneako's masquerade as a red pill bastion is so see-through, he's unraveling rapidly. Facts. Facts.
Welcome back! Yo, chat, can I get a loser in the chat? Can I get some losers in the chat? We off the fucking strike. We got banned on Twitter and we still here. But we got a lot to get into, bro.
I didn't come across Sneako until this past summer, as I was researching my other favorite scam artist. I didn't know who this guy was, but I found...
All right, we're going to try this at 1.5 because I do want to make sure we have time for Captain Paul. If it's too fast, just let me know. This guy seems to be talking a little bit slower, so...
Many of videos of him reacting to Andrew Tate live on stream even before Tate blew up. And honestly, there was something about Sneako's personality that made him hard to just ignore and move on from. I definitely wasn't agreeing with him, but I could still see why people found him entertaining. At that point, he wasn't completely on the Tate bandwagon yet. But as I watched the Tate flame ignite over the next few weeks, I also watched Sneako go from being nuanced and authentic to instead of worshiping the man's every last word.
You can love each other. You can be prepared to take a bullet for her. That's what I'm saying.
Word. That's it's funny because it's true.
From there, Sneako would parrot all of Andrew Tate's worst rhetoric, becoming infamous for making inflammatory, sexist comments of his own.
You cannot provide anything other than pussy. That's all you got. You got a mouth, you got pussy, but that's it. No woman wants to be in an equal.
So we're seeing, you know, in this intro of some of the clips that we had just seen in the last one, but he is going to go way back into the history, starting from the very beginning.
Relationship. Women are submissive. They're here to nurture and we're here to provide. You know where women have the least rights? Saudi Arabia. They're doing pretty well. The more patriarchy, the more society kind of runs how it's supposed to run. I don't care. Give me more money for my pussy.
And that's what turned me and many others away as his true intentions became clear. But Sneako's story starts way before this time, almost an entire decade, in fact, when he first joined the platform on April 9th, 2013.
2013. Was anybody here not alive in 2013? No, that wouldn't be okay. The time, you know, time is crazy.
Sneako's YouTube journey began a world apart from where he ended up, which is peddling anti-Semitic conspiracy theories alongside a domestic terrorist and burning every conceivable bridge while doing so.
What do you think about the Jews? Do they control all the money in the world? Are they behind the scenes on most of these issues?
Things were simpler in 2013.
Jeez.
At first, his videos weren't totally unlike what any 14-year-old would be prone to making. Coming home from school, he'd sit down in front of...
Oh no. Not the struggle stream. Don't give me the struggle stream. No buttons and a struggle stream? Why does the internet hate me? Why? Why, oh why does the internet hate me? Please, just play the video. Just play the video. Get rid of some of this bullshit. Come on, bro. What we doing?
2013. At first, his videos weren't totally unlike what any 14-year-old would be prone to making. Coming home from school, he'd sit down in front of...
I don't understand. I don't understand what is happening. This is the best internet that you can get. All right, we're at 7:07. I hate when this happens. Like, come on, bro.
A mocking chat for her City. Spending a little bit of time in Brooklyn, he and his two siblings were raised in New Haven, Connecticut by two parents who are still together to this day, an achievement he's always held to high regard.
My parents are still together. Like almost nobody I know is like that. They've been married for 30 years. My dad has been fully committed to being a dad, and he was like that support that I think a lot of people don't have that really made me successful.
Growing up in a
That's a great point, Dan, that Andrew Tate attracts weak men. It seems like that's true for Sneako. So I think that, you know, it may be like, I definitely get what you're saying. And the notion that only weak men are attracted to what Andrew Tate says definitely isn't the case. But there is a specific and special allure if you are a weak man, if you don't have that male structure in your life. You're exactly right. And it seems, like you said, it seems like that's exactly true for Sneako. But like David said, he walked what he talked. And Sneako doesn't know how to do that.
Pretty diverse environment, Sneako described his situation as fairly middle class. Having poor and rich friends alike, he attended private school his entire academic career, never setting foot in public school a day in his life. According
Co-parter, bro. Co-parter.
to him, it took a while to realize how much of an outcast he was.
And it took me a long time to realize that I was an outsider. I didn't fully understand why I didn't fit in until I was like going through puberty and like they think I'm different.
Sneako is of half Filipino, quarter Haitian, quarter white descent, and has frequently described how his identity has shaped his circumstances, attributing his place in school and many scholarships to his racial status.
What kind of scholarships? Were these like grades or?
No, they weren't grades. I think that there were minority scholarships. I could take off a lot of boxes because I'm very mixed. So it's like the minority quota, I check off like 17 boxes at once.
Were you good at school? Like, did you enjoy it?
I would say it was like up until like 8th grade, I was one of the smart kids. I cheated on my SAT. I cheated on every standardized test. I cheated on all my homework.
The Sneako.
That's what all the smart kids do. Just straight up cheat. Now, as somebody who didn't really study a day in my life until college, I definitely cheated a lot in school, but it was more, I don't know. It had more to do with my laziness than like the fact that like those things aren't connected. Being smart and cheating on things. It's just a weird connection to make.
And nothing has ever been more important than crafting his own path towards success.
Do you genuinely kind of feel proud that you cheated your way through
No, I feel proud.
school after grade 8?
I think it's dope. I like finessing. I think that's interesting. I do my own thing. I don't work a job. I just got my own thing going on. It makes me, I guess I feel a sense of pride that like, yo, I did the system. I did what I wanted. I did it my own way.
A mentality that led him to drop out of college and pursue his own unorthodox ways of making money, whether that was professional modeling or putting his free time towards making videos. It's not like YouTube had failed him yet. Sneako got his first AdSense check back when he was still very young, buying a pillow chair and taking great pride in getting himself there on his own.
I remember getting my first.
Funny little quick story. I didn't properly set up my AdSense account, so my first like YouTube check is it's gonna be nice. And then the next one definitely won't be. So please help my ego.
YouTube AdSense check when I was like 14, and I bought this pillow that I could put up against my wall, like a pillow you could lean up on like this. And I remember every day, like come back to school leaning on this, like, yo, I bought this with YouTube money. I paid for this from Call of Duty videos. I was so proud of that. This one item, I made that from talking to a camera playing Call of Duty. That took so much, but I thought that was successful.
With YouTube, Sneako had an outlet to
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that experience. To have something in my hand that is proof that people care about what I have to say. That's never been the case. But now I have proof that you guys are out there. I appreciate you guys so much. So much.
Be himself. And although he didn't become a clout juggernaut until years down the road, his passion to keep moving was always there. Just the possibility that he could continue to expand his empire and positively affect those around him was enough to drive him forward on his creative ventures. Or in his own words, seek truth through funny.
Holy shit, everyone, it's me, I'm here. What do people think of you? This is what we live for. It isn't how can I make myself better, it's if I go hiking this weekend, how many Instagram likes can I get if I take a selfie next to a tree?
In November 2015, Sneako uploaded what would become his first viral video, How People View You. A 3-minute monologue where he attempts to explain why people perceive us the way they do, cutting back and forth between haircuts to make a point that we as individuals have more power to control what other people think of us than we may care to admit.
Our images.
And the sad irony is that this from a 14-year-old kid was deep. It was thoughtful. It was original. And it was grounded.
Is everything. And if you pay attention, you'll see the lengths people go to maintain this. Virtually everything you do is in anticipation of how someone else is going to react. When I have a buzz cut, I want people to think I'm a big tough guy, you know, big tough guy. When I got the quarter black, half Asian fro going on, I want you to think that maybe I go to museums or something. I don't know though. Should I post this? Maybe people are going to think I'm a tryhard.
In all fairness, it was a pretty sharp video, if not for just how purely unique it was. Seeing such brutally honest self-awareness from a guy as young as him is what drove Sneako to a couple thousand subs. His first taste of real attention.
Did you know
From that point
Freedom?
on, Sneako would graduate from traditional gameplay commentary videos, covering issues from feminism to BLM to the 2016 election, and all you'd expect from your average 16-year-old YouTuber.
People are like, oh, you're not a feminist? Feminism is for equality for both genders, so why isn't it called humanism?
Plus, it helped back then that any ill-informed opinion he had could be easily chalked up to a kid who had yet to experience much of the world. His opinions weren't always great, but they were still forming. He had some growing to do, but that didn't stop plenty of fans or fellow influencers from taking notice of his creative side. Sneako's notable editing style is what got so many people in the door, and openly sharing his personal perspectives was what got them to stay. One of his then fans being
Beast.
How's it going, man?
Hi, my name's Hugh Montgomery with the IRS.
Fuck.
A couple minutes, sir.
No, I don't.
who not only named Sneako as one of his favorite YouTubers, but had been there with him since the two were in middle school.
I've been doing YouTube for a long time. So like when I first started doing Call of Duty videos and stuff like that, like we had known each other from comment sections when I was 14, 15.
In a way, Sneako has always had an urge to compare himself to Jimmy. They started at the same place at around the same time, making the exact same COD videos.
So I don't know exactly for sure, which is why we're going to bring Captain Paul on. But I believe that Captain Paul was part of this group or a clan or whatever. But he had some very close connection to Sneako way back in the day. So he talks about it a little bit in his video, which we are going to watch. But I'm very excited to hear from Cap.
Mr. Beast was always the first to leave a comment under Sneako's vids, but today he's the one with 100 million subscribers.
I don't know if it's a good idea to be comparing yourself to the guy with 100 million subs.
It is because we started at the same point. It's very comparable.
No, you started
he was
at the
my
same
fan.
turn,
No,
no?
I
So then basically that means that he succeeded and you failed. They're trying to give you the out. Well, that's not really comparable. Like, no, it totally is. It totally is. You can compare us, and I have 1 million subscribers, and he has 15. I mean, 1 million subscribers ain't nothing to scoff at, but come on.
started off, I was making Call of Duty commentaries, and he was like first in the comment section.
While he's always shown appreciation for what Jimmy taught him, it's hard to imagine there isn't any jealousy at play, especially when Sneako himself has admitted to wanting to be Mr. Beast.
I didn't want to be the guy in Mr. Beast videos. I wanted to be Mr. Beast.
In fact, that's one reason an internship Jimmy had given him fell apart in summer 2018, helping out with one video before deciding the title of Mr. Beast's friend who wasn't for him. He was fired and made a video exposing Mr. Beast shortly after, one that he deleted.
This is the cope when people just say things. Then they're confronted with actual information. Not only then do they not have a rebuttal, but as a defense, well, that's too stupid. That's too dumb. I'm not going to bother. Okay, stay dumb. Stay dumb then. You got bored? I thought this was one of your major points, that a lot of men raise kids that aren't theirs.
Deleted in a matter of minutes, but served as the final nail in the coffin for Sneako and Jimmy's friendship, going down two polar opposite paths as Sneako continued building his humble following until finally striking gold.
Do you think marriage is for nerds?
No. Oh, no, I would love to be married. Marriage is definitely for nerds.
I'm gay and unmarried.
Do you think that men and women are...
The 1 minute podcast, I remember when this started. I mean, I don't remember the exact, but I remember seeing this and like, oh, this is genius. This is a great idea. And I loved that it was not live, but you know, the interactions were live as opposed to, you know, clipped up and done as a you know, like a regular video. To see Sneako, who I had been watching and seeing like, wow, this dude's got, you know, some interesting thoughts, to then have him just like out in the wild talking to people in New York City subway. I was like, this is great. And it was for a long time. And then Tate happened.
Created equal?
Yes and no.
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 I'm gonna have to like not answer that.
Street interviews quickly became a pillar of Sneako's main channel. Sneako was already known for covering divisive subjects, but this was the first time he ever brought strangers into the discussion. And as it turned out, people enjoyed hearing what the everyman on the street had to say about whatever issue plagued Sneako's mind that day.
You're more attractive when you have money?
No, not necessarily. I've been dead broke and managed to get it on.
I haven't, but
I can do almost a lot of things as a man can do. I mean, if I work out enough in the gym and I build my muscle.
Guys, we're still at 6 likes. We're still at 6 likes. There's like, it's not that hard. Just, and you're done. And then I won't have to stop the show. just hit the like button, please, please.
I'm sure I can pull up and do stuff that a man can do.
I really like your perspective. I haven't heard someone talk like that all day. Yeah, thank you.
Surpassing well over 500,000 subscribers before 2020 thanks to his series he dubbed the 1 Minute Podcast.
So Freedom says, just saying things? LOL. They said the same thing with mass Ukraine, COVID, divorce, abuse, men. Okay. And all of those things, I will agree with you on the things that you have evidence for, that we have evidence for. You probably don't have evidence for shit because you just listen to whatever. The question is not, are you right or wrong? The question is, do you have the information to back up what you are saying? You may very well be right. We are all, well, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I am absolutely open to the idea that 30% of men are raising children that aren't theirs. I'm open to it. But if you're too bored to read through studies and see what's wrong with them, then I don't know what exactly my role is in this. Hey, we got Vlad the Impaler in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Says Andrew Tate speaks a ton of facts, though. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. That he does spit facts. And you know, like David was saying earlier, what did David say? That with Tate, at least you can say he walked the walk. You know, he walked the walk you talking. But Sneako's masquerade as a red pill bastion is so see-through. He is unraveling. And so the idea here is that, unfortunately, because Andrew Tate does speak a ton of facts, what he speaks that isn't directly fact can get into the mind of somebody like Sneako and scramble it all up. I don't think that, you know, Andrew Tate's message is appropriate for, you know, 10, 12-year-old boys. You have to be able to understand the nuances that he doesn't speak about. When he can say things like, I don't need to study to see that women, you know, can't drive in the same. That was the very first thing that we covered on this channel of Andrew Tate when he was talking to XQC on Aiden and Aiden Ross. And they were talking about who was better drivers. It's like, you need to study to see who's this, that, and that. You have to understand that despite statistics, as I was bringing up before with my friend who doesn't like to wear a seatbelt, there are nuances. And Sneako doesn't seem to understand that. But welcome to the party, Vlad. Glad you are here.
Format was pretty straightforward. Sneako set up a booth on the subway and spent 60 seconds interviewing random passerbys on hot button issues. Asking questions like, do you trust the government? What do you think is the root of all evil? And are trans people real?
So welcome back. We're in West Coast once again, and I'm asking people about the they, them pronouns, about gender, trans, all that stuff. Would you date a trans person?
What? This is personally where I find Sneako a little difficult to watch. I don't think all of these topics can be appropriately covered in such a brief interview. Like condensing a conversation on trans issues down to a 60-second interval where you don't really push back against incorrect or bigoted ideas is pretty dismissive and insensitive to the trans experience.
Day and them is bullshit, bro. Because chromosomes, we all got chromosomes, right? For a reason, right? How you just gonna be a day and them? What is that? How's that possible?
I disagree with the who are we talking with here? Jay Aubrey again. Thank you, Jay Aubrey, for putting all this together. But I disagree with what he is how he's characterizing this, because the idea was to get people to speak freely. And if this is what people really think, the idea is not to push back against it. The idea is not to correct them or anything like that. It's to get what is it that they are thinking. So that part, I disagree with him. I think that the allure of this was that people, normal people, just going through their day, don't align with the political correctness and all that other shit.
It isn't really the productive, deep conversation you're pretending it is, especially when you keep making annoying jokes that fly over people's heads.
I'm from Switzerland. I think it was 1971 that they introduced voting for women. So that was
last good year.
Like equal to cattle.
Yeah, this is a cherry picked. Keep making jokes that go over people's heads. That's I mean, if somebody could present the evidence that happens all the time, that's one thing. But I think this seems a little cherry picked.
basically. Just cows.
Good old days.
But the fans, on the other hand, enjoyed getting such an up-close and personal look at what the average New Yorker thought about these things. The appeal came from how raw it was. Even when people were speaking nonsense, it still made for good enough entertainment in the eyes of Sneako's audience, which ballooned to over 700k subscribers during that year. For a while, Sneako enjoyed the freedom of sharing his mind, speaking with strangers on the streets, and letting his fans in on the more personal details of his life. That is until things got weird.
I was like, what did she want from the relationship that you couldn't give her? If you're gone for like more than 3 weeks, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's time to, you know, I want
3 weeks though. Come on, man.
3 weeks.
So I was not really privy to all of this. This was when, I guess it was when his live streaming career was first starting. So I didn't necessarily know that that was a thing. Because I definitely, you know, I knew about Sneako from not as far back as the haircut video, but before the 1 Minute podcast started. And, you know, was very excited whenever a new video would come out. Because again, like we were saying, thoughtful video essays, stuff like that. And then the allure of the 1 Minute podcast was that it kind of underlined and all of the things that he was saying by people not being politically correct, that people don't want all this trans stuff, that people, you know, whatever the case may be. And I missed out on this whole thing. So to see that this is where things really start to go off the rails, it makes a lot of sense to me, because it's just a matter of him merging his personal life and his work too much. Now, as a content creator, you absolutely want to be real and authentic. I think you guys would be able to tell if I was putting on a character, if I was, you know, whatever. And yes, I am putting on a show in the sense that there's a show that you're watching, and also in the sense that I am playing up my characteristics in the way I talk because it's a show, but I'm not being inauthentic. I'm just highlighting certain aspects of the way that I already am. You likely are not ever going to see how I talk to my friends, just like if we're just hanging out. Number one, because I'm not very good on stream when I'm high. Number two, I'm not usually around friends and not high. And number three, because I need, for my own mental health, so that I don't end up like Sneako, a distinction between what is my life and what is my job. This is my job. This is what I do for work. Now, I have another job, but I'm looking to get out of there. And that's important. It's important to make that distinction, at least if you're understanding that it's different. Then you can, or at least, let me put it this way: the better you understand it, the more of yourself you can put into things, because you understand that the boundary exists. And it seems like Sneako doesn't understand that there needs to be that boundary.
Long time. 3 weeks, long time to not see anybody. Like, that's a long time.
In early 2021, Sneako announced that he and his girlfriend had broken up after he cheated on her while the two were long distance. In the 11-minute video, Sneako interviews her over FaceTime to discuss the traumatic events he put her through. And in retrospect, it definitely feels like I shouldn't be seeing this.
Facts, David. Facts. It's clear to see. Sorry. Clear to see that Sneako could have been a huge content creator, but he shoehorned himself into a narrative that he convinced himself doesn't even follow. I think it was really the Tate thing. I don't know any content creator who at the time when Andrew Tate was on the rise, like if you're going to be swept up in that, then there's really nothing else as a content creator that matters. And then if you're like Sneako, where there is nothing else to your life than being a content creator, then, you know, it makes sense. Hey, we got Liquid Mineral Factory in the building. What is good? Welcome. Been a while. Glad to see you. Glad you are here. Says, if you think 30% of children are raised by men who are not their biological father, well, then maybe you lack common sense. Got him. Yeah. I mean, like, what are you thinking? You have yet to present any facts. You're just saying things. Yeah, our resident fact checker had her husband double check the math. Works out.
3 weeks is a long time. 3 weeks is a long time to not see anybody. Like, that's a long time.
Bruh,
I give you like at least like 2 months, 3 months even.
2 months?
Sneako was airing the very personal details of a relationship that probably should have just stayed between the two of them, especially considering how divided the comments were. Many fans thought this was Sneako crossing a line, further exploiting the pain he instigated. Some writing he put more effort into the editing of this video than the relationship. Sneako.
So I don't know. You know, we broke it up with the conversation in the chat, but the idea here is that he cheated on his girl. The black girl was his girlfriend. They were doing long distance. He cheated, and the conversation they had about it, he streamed. And then people are saying he spent more time on the editing than he did on the relationship. Now this person's saying Sneako cheated during a pandemic when everyone is likely inside. That means you had to go way out of your way. People were doing the do. People were doing what they were doing.
Cheated during a pandemic. That means you had to go way out of your way. And most tellingly, this channel feels like a movie where I hate the main character right now. The truth was
a movie where I hate the main character right now. That is spot on.
Was that Sneako's content had been taking a nosedive for quite some time, pushing some of his longtime fans away with titles like these. Whether or not designed out of some kind of ulterior artistic vision, not all of Sneako's fans were having it, with one line of criticism coming from none other than D'Angelo Wallace. While maybe in the form of a short comment left over on his breakup video, these 4 words from D'Angelo Wallace would resonate with Sneako in a huge way, as evident by his next upload.
Yeah, if you didn't see that, D'Angelo Wallace, the dude they were just showing, left a comment on the whole breakup stream saying he belongs to the streets, and apparently that got all up in his business. Hey, we got indie film in the building. Welcome to the party. So glad you are here, brother. Good to see you. We are checking out how did the downfall of Sneako play out the way that it did. Welcome. And another howdy from Dan Jensen. Welcome to the party.
Forcing myself to watch D'Angelo Wallace, the impetus for a one-sided beef that still looks pretty pathetic to this day.
We're gonna watch this video, Influencer 19. It's an hour and 10 minutes.
So remember, we saw in the last video that the D'Angelo Wallace, he left that comment. And then he did a video about why Sneako is just like not a good person. And then Sneako did this.
I saw like 10 minutes, I was skipping around and I was getting mad. Not only at his braces and the fact that he looks like a TikTok little tech up. My ops are moving crazy. I don't know if you heard of him. His name is D'Angelo Wallace. I'm not even one started this beef. Got top comment saying he belongs to the streets. I don't know you. You don't know me. And you're judging me, calling me a thought.
See, Sneako decided to take the completely mature approach of responding to a single comment with a 20-minute reaction to D'Angelo's then a recent video, Influencer 19. If you've seen it, you'll know D'Angelo looks at an ensemble of YouTubers and TikTok stars who broke COVID-19 restrictions and were just generally irresponsible in the wake of the pandemic.
Okay, so I got the timeline a little mixed up. So Sneako was doing this whole thing with his girlfriend. Then D'Angelo Wallace said he belonged to the streets. And then the video that triggered Sneako was this Influencer 19 of D'Angelo Wallace kind of being a little brat and saying, "Oh, look what they're doing! Look what they're doing! Look what they're doing!" A little bitchy, but you know, is what it is.
And today, it's a pretty sufficient time capsule into how the internet collectively responded to what was going on 2 years ago. Sneako, though, uses this video as an opportunity to hit back at D'Angelo for the comment he left on his previous video, which to me already makes this exchange seem lopsided. You can't respond to a video that had nothing to do with the reason you're upset and not look insecure and desperate in the process. But that's exactly what ended up happening, as Sneako failed to address even the most basic points made by D'Angelo, instead opting to make fun of his looks and repeat everything he said in a condescending, mocking tone of voice.
Very clearly outlined Los Angeles guidelines that said
Los Angeles County guidelines. Los Angeles County guidelines. We're in the.
This is exactly the criticism that I always had of Jon Stewart. Now, a lot of people, even people who are conservatives, grew up watching The Daily Show. I never understood the allure of The Daily Show. The entire Daily Show is like, okay, this happened.
Middle of a pandemic. His voice, his face. Wait, I wouldn't want to punch this.
Then you pause. And you cut back to Jon Stewart doing that. Like, that's not entertainment. Nor is it news. So what are we doing here?
guy in the face. There's no part of me that wants to do that.
Making the same joke 6 times within the first 3 minutes.
Doesn't that remind you of the kids in high school that were in student council? They'd be the type to like tell the teacher when you were late for morning meeting. I know you sat with the teachers at lunch. Remember when you had to run the mile back in middle school? I'm not gonna run and get my suit sweaty. He would raise his hand like, does anyone know the binomial? Yes, I would volunteer. Okay, so in my homework, I wrote about
Before launching into some kind of bizarre tangent about different types of gay people.
If your favorite influencers are at huge house parties during a pandemic.
It's funny that he's shouting out just the white version of him. Just another gay nerd with glasses who's probably talks the same way and snitches on people. These are the worst type of gay guys. Can we talk about that? There's a lot of like cool ass gay guy. The gay guys who be in the gym with the tank top and the mesh shirt.
This is again, this is where you need a friend to be like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you saying? Why is this something that is being broadcasted to the internet? It says, so 300,000 men per year get tested. Out of those men, 30% are not the father. Compare that to the 72 million men who have children. Talk about a sample size there.
Those guys are chill as fuck. They host great parties. These are the gay people who don't know how to sing. They don't know how to dance. They weren't good enough to get invited to the musical theater performances. So they end up just snitching and just whining for the rest of their life. And they probably get fat by the time they're 28. They don't have good sex. They probably just finger each other. I doubt they even use dildos. I doubt they get freaky with it. Put your finger up an ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, be a good gay guy if you're gonna be gay.
I don't even think D'Angelo has ever stated his sexuality. I mean, what is this? In the rare instances where he actually does.
Sorry, my pause button's not on part over here. Liquid Mineral Factory says, I was thinking, what is the most ridiculous worldview a man can have? How about women as a group are suspect and up to no good? What? Come on, bro. That's not a healthy mindset. Well, let's slow down a little bit. There absolutely is reason for men to be cautious and skeptical about all women. Understanding that, of course, not all of them are bad in whatever way, but that any of them can be. So that message, absolutely, I agree with. And I think it is, in fact, unhealthy and dangerous to go through the world not thinking that way. But to just assume that all women are bad, which seems to be, where Sneako's ended up, is definitely not a good mindset. Dan says, I don't have facts about it. I don't know how many, talking about the fathers. I really don't know how many race kids that are not their own, and that's why I don't come with a number. So what you're saying, Dan, is that because you don't know a thing, you're not going to assert it. That's a good way to go through life.
Acknowledge what D'Angelo is saying, Sneako fails to accurately assess and argue against any of his points. Writing D'Angelo off is just jealous for not being invited to any of these parties.
You just sound mad that you weren't invited. You idolize.
And Harley says only 30%. The 30% only counts men who got tested, not the men who didn't get tested. Who wants to bet that there was monetary compensation for the testing? So if there's monetary compensation to test your blood type to see whether you have, to take a paternity test, going to attract a certain type of demographic. People that are not good with money might have a slight overlap with people who are promiscuous. Just saying. You want to talk about how how the studies are done and the methods and all of that?
Celebrities, you're really involved in the Kardashians' life, and it's more fun to trash them on Twitter than to admit that you're a fan.
But what more can you expect from a guy who blames old people for giving themselves the virus and commands an unemployed mother to, quote, get her money up?
Losing pay, dealing with unemployment, missing government checks, and new childcare responsibilities.
That girl whining right here, like, you're broke, wah, 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 you're broke. Get your money up. Why are you complaining about how broke you are and exposing, I can't pay for my kids and I can't pay for my granddaughter? Why are you telling me? Get your money up and stop bitching about it. If your grandparents were at risk, like, why don't they just stay the fuck home? They shouldn't be on the goddamn plane.
Doesn't make me suddenly okay now that they're still here. That deep cut that my dad might not have parents anymore. I still felt it. So regardless of whether or not people are literally dropping dead from COVID-19.
This video is so full of Sneako flying off the handle and making dog shit rebuttals that to sit here and debunk.
And I definitely get the anti super COVID person. I get that. I was in that crowd. I was like, F all of you who are saying that, I have to change my life and that I have to take this experimental drug, all of that stuff. But this ain't it, Sneako. This ain't it. And we're only in 2021. We're only in 2021.
Everything would take way too long. If you want more of a step-by-step breakdown of how bad this response really is, I suggest you watch Kunkin Dassner's video linked down below. All you need to know for now, though, is that the cracks were beginning to form in Sneako's image.
D'Angelo, I think you're a jealous, hating rat. Let's get in the ring. Weave. Yeah. You want to box me, bro? Let's do a 1v1 boxing match. You say I belong to the streets? Yeah, I belong to the streets. We can work this out on the streets. So we can
This
do it in the
is
ring,
why
bro.
you need
Let's
friends.
box.
Here was this insecure...
This is why you need friends. This is why you need people who care about you. You know, he was talking about how, oh, my chat is my family. Are they though? Would they come and bail you out of jail? Would they come and, you know, let you stay at their house? Because you know, something was going on? I mean, well, okay, maybe that's a bad example. But these are not your friends. These are people who see you as a clown, as a jester, and they enjoy the show that they are watching. Now, I can get how putting so much of yourself into this minstrel show would make you think that the people actually like you. But there's a difference between people enjoying watching you say the things you say and people liking you as a person. And I don't think he understands that.
Man-child, lashing out against another YouTuber who committed the cardinal sin of leaving a single comment on the video. The most ironic part was that D'Angelo never even responded, leaving Sneako to look like the biggest idiot on the planet when his annoying attacks were met with radio silence. But at least we know he learned nothing about this dispute, judging how he had this to say a year after D'Angelo's hiatus.
My anxiety peaked. There's no special way for me to put this.
My anxiety!
I wasn't able to do my job because my anxiety.
And again, when it comes to the types of things like, you know, the liberal softness, and I'm right there with you. Like, if I was having a bout of anxiety and I couldn't do whatever, you know what I would do? I would tell you guys, hey, I got some stuff going on, not going to be able to stream. That's it. Because I don't need to burden you with my life. My job here is to entertain you. Now then, if you want to ask, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you good? Then I'd be open to talk about it. But to put this guilt on the people who are there for entertainment, I agree with Sneako that this ain't the way either. But put that aside. We're here. We're watching. The guy is putting himself out there, and this is how you react to him.
My anxiety. I should say I've deliberately not gone into detail about my mental health problems.
My mental health.
But the truth is, I have really severe anxiety.
Ooh, David Banner with a bar. How are they his friends when he monetized every interaction with them? Sneako is delusional. That is spot on. Spot on. Every opportunity with anybody else. And this is a YouTuber thing that you'll get in this mindset that everything has to be content. Because time is the amount of time that goes into, you know, if you have a 10-minute video, there's probably 4 hours of work behind that video. So, you know, it's very easy for people to see that, like, oh, you just sat down, you said some things, and then that's it. So I understand as a creator wanting to be, you know, maximize what I can do. But David Banner, you are absolutely right. Again, going back to the idea that he has irrevocably merged his personal life and his work. That's it. You nailed it.
Depression. Oh yeah. And it often leads to
this man is crying right now.
Suicidal ideation.
Oh no. Yeah. Maybe stop thinking about that, right? Your life's easy. Comparatively, he's looking for attention, right? I mean, it is what it is.
I'm sorry to say this.
He's looking for attention right now. That's not even false. But what are you gaining by making this your content? You're talking about the Matrix, does this, that, and then whatever. Why aren't you talking about that? Why aren't you talking about that?
weird, one-sided feud wasn't an outlier in Sneako's pattern of behavior. In fact, it was only the first of many dominoes to fall over the course of the next year, with things really heating up in 2022.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm telling you, you know everything that you believe, bro. This is my brother Twip. You cannot bring me here. That's the market.
This is a perfect example of the epitome of what these streams are.
Get over TikTok! Get over Instagram and make money on it! Why are you scrolling? You're so stupid!
Yeah, Sneako's live streaming career was a trip.
What is Brett Cooper's type?
Lots of quizzes because that's basically what I do at home on my couch with my dogs.
Starting around the beginning of the year, Sneako's content went from art house style vlogs and interviews on the New York subway to holding himself up in his apartment and screaming until his lungs collapsed. Of course, the timing was extremely convenient too. Having just gotten out of another relationship, Sneako had plenty of time on his hands to gather videos worthy of his on-stream reaction. Coinciding around the rise of Andrew Tate, it didn't take long for Sneako to develop a liking to the Talk G. Seeing a bit of himself in Tate, Sneako clung onto nearly every syllable that spilled out of this man's mouth.
This is where he was already off he was already off the rails, but he could have corrected. He could have corrected without Tate. And I don't put that on Tate. Because Tate's just Tate. It's on Sneako. But man, where would Sneako be if he had never met Andrew Tate? Probably very, 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 very happy with a bustling YouTube community. Bustling YouTube community.
Reacting to his most viral moments over on his second channel, Sneako, which would serve as the home of his VODs and stream highlights. His name gaining over 1 billion views on TikTok, Sneako quickly realized how outrage and controversy made for the most viral, profitable moments, something he would use to his advantage as his content grew more aggressive.
Men objectify women. That's the point of going out, and women live in a lie. You go out so that women can look like objects, and then we give them attention. That's what it is. And you're like, but women are queens. It should be looked at for their personality. No, you need to be a woman needs to be an object of beauty. You fucking idiot. This is evolution. This is basic biology. Your liberal bullshit is not going to forward the human race. It's going to make men into pussies, and it's going to make women stronger.
Instead of
tell me that you've never been in a real relationship without telling me you've never been in a real relationship.
Making the original creative content people loved over on his main channel, Sneako started reacting to videos made by other YouTubers, some of which criticizing Andrew Tate as more harmless left-wing creators served as particularly easy targets for Sneako and his rabid, increasingly right-wing fanbase. Left-leaning personalities like Noah Samson, Anna Marie Forcino, and even Curtis Connor were all the polar opposites of Sneako, who saw the
I'm actually a big fan of Curtis Connor. I don't know if you guys know him. He does more, not like political content, just kind of fun stuff. And he is a raging liberal, and it comes out in the videos, and that can be a little bit annoying. But if you can look past that, then he is funny, and he does cover good topics. And, 2 for however million subscribers, he definitely has the resources to make well-edited videos, and I just think he's funny. But of course, despite the fact that knowing that blowing up on social media is going to mean that people are going to talk about you, Sneako just couldn't take it.
These individuals as fresh content and would tear into them to an unnecessary extent.
Just look at her. This dude is 28 years old. This is what they want you to become.
Shout out to Danny Gonzalez. Love him too.
Free Willy. Like, she's overweight, and she's a white girl, and she's Gen Z. I'm not telling you to judge anyone by your appearance, but like, you know what she thinks. He got a mullet and a mustache, and still like my 80% female audience is still saying, he's fine, but he's not funny. Bro, this is a fucking nose ring. You got the same soy boy goggles on, and a trucker mullet and this weird stash. That's what makes you fine. You look goofy. Every day down in Brooklyn looks like this.
Cover my drink.
He doesn't care, bro. Nobody wants you. Look at your fat head. Look how fat your head is. That headphones indent it. But chat, we have to be better than them. I'm living good because I show love. I put love out there, and really, honestly, I focus too much energy on the haters, because the amount of love in here is the reason any of this is possible.
As we saw with the D'Angelo situation, Sneako has never been the best at forming arguments. Why craft out a coherent, intelligent response to what someone said when you can just call them boring or say their video is too long? Both pretty ironic defenses coming from this guy.
These people are just genuine.
Oh, did somebody say it was too long and they got bored? That reminds me of something that just happened recently. What was it? Where somebody was provided with information directly related to what they were asking and talking about, but said it was too long and they're bored, and I don't know. Well, it's the same thing that they did. Excuses. Be a man.
When bots. Anyone's in a mall is a bot. You're a bot. Bots. You're a bot. Bots. I became a bot.
Sneako developed a tendency to take personal jabs at whoever landed in his crosshairs, going after the physical appearances of virtually everyone he covered, a strategy that would become Sneako's forte, as he continued uploading videos like why 2s think they're 10s, and why ugly girls think they're beautiful.
And look at those lashes, bro. Does that not look like something? This is why we need to body shame more. Look, bro. Go. She thinks she's valuable, and you're a 3. Bitch, you're a fucking 3. She's a fat one.
It's clear he had nothing.
Who are you helping with this? Again, I say, who are you helping with this? I thought you were about speaking truth. You're just insulting people. Now you can criticize people, but there's a difference between criticizing people's ideas and making fun of who they are.
Nothing else to offer besides making unfunny middle school jokes and unnecessarily punching down on oppressed groups.
Who's doing these like unprovoked violent attacks on Asians? What race? Have you been paying attention? Have you looked at the statistics? Have you seen? I've been looking at all these videos since it happened. Like I've seen, it's been.
You think it's black people?
It's only black people. Uncomfortable truth. Black people are more violent than white people.
But it's not like he wasn't incentivized to do so. As we saw with Tate, this kind of reactionary content sells, especially a few months ago when the Tate brothers were seen as rebels against the status quo that had become too woke.
All the wokeness that's been infecting in these movies. Can't you tell? Like all the trans movies, they're trying to put an agenda in everything we watch. Can't you feel it?
Sneako was expressing a frustration felt by millions, and although he wasn't saying anything particularly smart or profound,
this guy's a misogynist. You're toxic and problematic.
He was speaking to widespread anger. His content became highly emotional, making for some pretty embarrassing and disgusting on-stream moments. And yes, there's a trigger warning here for SA.
What the fuck do you think her political opinions are? Take one look at her goofy ass bangs and the septum piercing. She believes in astrology. That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all are predictable.
Ron.com/chat for 15% off of your purchase. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring today, and let's get back to the video.
Sometime towards the end of the summer, as Sneako was moving a million miles a minute with the reaction content, he decided to react to a video made by fellow YouTuber Chad. In his typical, thoughtful, analytical fashion, Sneako spent the majority of this stream mocking Chad for her looks and discrediting her words on the basis of her being a woman, up until a certain point where he does this.
You know, it's true. What's so predictable? You could tell by the way she's talking that she hasn't been properly in a long time. It's been a while. So she's on the internet making this garbage video, promoting all this feminist garbage to your lonely girls in the comment section. What you really need, Chad, is yeah, shut up with your feminism. Yeah,
again, I say, it comes up. Where are your friends? Even streamer friends. Where are the people that as Dave Banner was saying, that, you monetize at any opportunity? Even those people with the size of his platform, I would imagine that there would be some people who are associated with Sneako who are getting the rub and are like, hey, this isn't actually a great look, so maybe we don't want to do that. Nobody. Where are these people?
Come here. That's what you need. And she's gonna go, that's what you need. You need some sense back into you.
Bizarrely suggesting Chad hasn't had sex in a while. Sneako goes on to hump the air and act out what appears to be him having rough sex with her. Now, no one on the internet signs up to be talked about this way. And in my mind, Sneako's gross comments can be summed up as nothing short of harassment. As many former fans would...
Cope harder, bro. I literally do entire streams about how this is bullshit. But yeah, no, you've got us pinned.
Agree, the clip was sickening, and no level of defense from Sneako after the fact could possibly excuse it.
Apparently that's assault, which I think is kink shaming, and that's how I like to get down. If you think that's assault, then you kink shaming me. When I'm fucking a bitch, yeah, come here, consensually, obviously. I wasn't saying I wanted to do a Chad. I don't give a fuck about that hoe. I don't want to touch her. I don't want you near me. I'm saying she needs that. She needs somebody to be like, yeah, shut up. Yeah, shut up. You don't know how to.
So David Banner says, I think some time away from streaming would help Sneako a lot. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the bit. But yeah. I don't think he's a dangerous person, but the ideas he espouses are really a slippery slope into incel territory. Yep. Agree with that. He is internet dependent. 100%. 100%. It's really sad because he's good at what he does when he wants to be good. And the fact is that it's just, he's so close. He's so close. Like, just do a little bit better. That's all. And he has enough of a size of a crowd where he could slowly, gradually pivot to more grounded content. and make a decent living. Like, he's not going to be the next Andrew Tate, but make a decent living just streaming every day from your bedroom, getting the super chats, and going to bed. If that's the life I want to live, if that's the life you want to live, then it's not that hard. I mean, it's not that easy, but the dude's got skills. Not on stage doing comedy, but behind camera, he definitely does. Thank you, Dan. Shout out to Dan Jensen. Love you, brother.
It's interesting that in this scenario, he defends his unwanted sexual advancements as consensual in a hypothetical world, but when it comes to another YouTuber, Brandon Buckingham, passively joking about having sex with Sneako's girlfriend...
Oh, let's see if we can see the actual thing here. So, cling to this alpha male red pill persona that is completely fabricated. I used to rock with and support this dude, but on God, it's fuck him from now on. I'll be in New York City in July, Sneako. Come watch me lick shots on your busted ass girl. Whole gang's gonna run the train on her like she asked us to. Keywords asked us to. Asked us to the last time I was in town. I know you love controversy and beef. How do you like this pressure? Yikes.
And it becomes a rape threat.
And he said, I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend, bro. Bro literally said, I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend.
See, Sneako weaponizes certain issues and uses various talking points to his advantage only when it's convenient for him. Just like the many times he's made fun of the trauma of others while speaking at great length about the trauma brought on by watching his own girlfriend getting fucked in front of him at a sex party.
You're mentally ill, you're struggling, navigating pleasure and joy with trauma and guilt. Come on, bro.
I don't know, yo. I'm just not. And my girl's right here, and she's like, and I'm like, oh, yo, I'm like feeling traumatic thoughts, like seeing her with another person. It's a lot. I don't want you to reopen this.
It's hard to point out the difference here. I'm not seeing it.
Obvious wound, but like, what does that feel like?
No, it's okay. It felt like somebody was like taking something from me, like someone was violating my property. That's what it felt like. I felt like getting robbed, like right in front of me. Like that's what it. Yeah, it's like I don't want it. Why am I looking? I don't take any enjoyment from that.
You're 18 in trauma. What, you didn't go to war?
It's almost like he has no backbone, no concrete set of principles, and absolutely refuses to take accountability under any and all circumstances. Anytime he has the opportunity to apologize, he just doubles down. But actually, it's the women who can't take accountability, right?
Men go to jail for this. Women are not ever held responsible for what they do in relationships. They're always the victim.
So women aren't held accountable at all, or
no, not.
I think they should be. I don't think
They should be. But they're not, and they don't want to be. They like it.
are as much as men are.
Oh, thank you for being honest, though.
Sneako prides himself on standing up to what he considers social programming, opposing all the soy boys, cucks, and bots who want everyone to remain the same, by shaming and belittling everyone who disagrees with his worldview.
Just staple this in your mind as exactly what not to.
Again, Danny Gonzalez, who's on this guy, completely non-political, completely just like a nice dude who just makes videos about like movies and video games and just culture. Now you're blowing up, Sneako, so obviously you are now part of the culture. So people who don't watch your content, like the whole streams, are going to comment on that. That is how this all works. It's surprising to me that you don't understand that.
To be. This is what happens when you listen to the liberal brainwashing too much. You look like this goofy ass idiot.
Yeah, I guess you have a bunch of those stuffed animals.
Well, wait, hold on.
That guy's nail polish on it. Like, it's like they of course
nail
do.
polish.
Framing his idea of masculinity as the only objectively correct one, making anything else worthy of bullying.
Bring bullying back. Bullying is necessary, or else you turn into this dude. A little bit of bullying is necessary. Dad, I just want to bully this guy. Like,
I know I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but even I can see the staggering level of cognitive dissonance at play here. How can you possibly hope to guide young men out of the matrix by forcing them to adhere to such a specific set of principles that only you deem appropriate? You're not as deep as you're pretending to be. You're not helping anyone escape anything. You're turning people into more active participants of the system you so vigorously claim to oppose. Don't tell me you care about male loneliness or men's mental health when all you really want to do is reinforce the very traditions and gender norms that have kept them down to begin with. Regressing society back to the 50s and advocating for such a narrow, limited view of masculinity is hardly the liberation from an oppressive hierarchy you think it is. But that's
a good point too, of framing masculinity in such a narrow context creates the toxic masculinity that all these people talk about. The fact is, if you're not acting exactly like Sneako, that you're not a real man. That's the lack of masculinity that gets turned into toxic masculinity. It's like I mean, it's not a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's like there's a word for it. There's a word for it. It's poetic. It's poetic. The irony is poetic. You miss anything here? No.
not what matters. All that really matters is being able to convey the idea of enlightenment. If you can convince enough desperate people that you're the only one who can help save them from a shitty existence, congratulations, you now have an army of religious zealots feeding out the palm of your hand. An infinite money glitch that Andrew Tate cracked long ago, and one that Sneako has been sure to exploit in a similar way, opening up a $50 course of his own with the Creativity Kit. When we visit the official website, we're greeted with a video message from Sneako under text that reads, after 9 years on YouTube, gaining over 2 million subscribers and getting canceled weekly, period, I figured out the formula for anyone to go viral and make money from social media.
So before we go into this, I want to talk about, my experience with the lead attorney and his online course, which was also $50 a month. I bought his live streaming course, which was 18 hours of content for $300. So I thought that was, and if you watch him and you're familiar with him, he is phenomenal at live streaming. He is very, very good at storytelling and just the whole thing. So I bought the course, loved the course, learned a lot. And then he started this mastermind, just this group of people who are YouTubers that can come together to 2 Zoom meetings a week. And sometimes we'll have some people, like we did one meeting where MTR was there. We did one meeting where Just Pearly Things was there. I think Coach Greg Adams was at one, like all this kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's just a twice a week. We just meet up, talk about like what's been going on, and by virtue of us all going through different stages of being YouTubers, we would be able to ask questions that we didn't know need to be asked and stuff like that. But the problem is that when you join something like that, you have to understand the end game and what kind of value that can bring to you. And the problem with the lead attorney's mastermind is not really anything with the mastermind, but just with the fact that very few of the people who are into that content care about this kind of content. And so we have 2B, we have Jess talking about it. Those are people that I met through the mastermind. But I because of the buying the course, I got a free month of the mastermind. He emailed a code out. And, at first I was just able to watch through all the old meetings. They'll record the meetings. So I'll just watch them at 2 times speed, just watch through, and I'm getting lots and lots and lots and lots of information. I'm like, all right, word up. I think this is worth it. And so a couple times I go in and they do this thing with the hot seat where you make a video and then you show it to them and then they give you all this. But by the second time, the only criticism I got was, what's going on with your background? Like, what do you mean? Like, why is all that stuff there? Like, what do you mean? This is my living room. Like, it's just a living room. Like, I don't understand. Like, if I had a green screen and it was just like a guitar here and a skateboard here and an anarchy symbol here and a dog here, then I would understand the criticism. But all that meant to me was, okay, I've kind of surpassed where the level where you guys are going to be able to help me. So I do very much think that I gained a lot of information from that group. But you have to understand that there's only a certain amount that somebody can tell you, and that this YouTube game is about just doing the work, about sitting down and doing the videos, doing the live streams. There's tricks and tips, but other than that, it's just about having good ideas and speaking well. That's it. So when you think about that, I just want you to keep that in mind as we go through this, because I want to compare this to my experience with the mastermind.
course on how to turn a profit online. How profound. Pretty much the exact mission statement of Hustlers University, except Sneako has only a fraction of Andrew Tate's resume. At the very least, with Hustlers University, fans could look to Tate's credentials as a millionaire who traveled the world as a champion kickboxer as some kind of justification for why they were dropping so much money on a Discord server. Andrew Tate had material success to his name, at the very least. Sneako, on the other hand, doesn't have near the kind of money or popularity to justify such a hefty entrance fee. He's just a guy who spent a decade grinding it out on YouTube before finally blowing up at a time when it became profitable to hate women.
Maybe you're afraid to say because you don't want to get canceled, but bro, I hate this shit out of women, bro. Women are so fucking annoying.
There's no secret there at all. Sneako's success can be learned and mimicked for free. Much like Hustlers University, the creativity kit has been criticized by those who have tried it as being shallow and unnecessary. And much like HU, a lot of it isn't even taught by the man himself, with Sneako's editor apparently taking the reins throughout a large chunk of the program. And when
So that is another piece of what these courses, what you have to watch out for. Because one of the biggest reasons that I canceled my subscription to the mastermind was that for a good 2 months, the lead attorney wasn't even running the sessions. We have other YouTubers that had barely bigger channels than I had. No, I gave him a timeout just so that, because I don't have time to waste on idiots. I gave him a timeout just to flex, whatever. He doesn't have time for us. Well, then bye. So, I'm going to these meetings and there's somebody with 2,000 subscribers who's been on YouTube for 6 months trying to teach me how to do YouTube. Like, I'm not saying you don't have anything to give me, but certainly not $50 a month worth. So just because somebody is good at what they do, somebody is able to help and understand, there's still other issues that can go along with that. And same thing here, that the editor was taking over most of the teaching.
Sneako does show up. It's to either spew the most basic advice imaginable or brag about meeting up with a crypto millionaire in Puerto Rico.
So see, okay, it's on screen. This is what you pay $50 a month for.
Fly to Puerto Rico and meet up with this crypto multimillionaire. A lot of people are impressed by the fact that I'm able to talk so fast because I'm challenging people. I'm making people think. It's creative. It's different. It's always changing. And that's why people like it.
So basically, just like all of his content from the past year and a half, it's vapid and useless. And that's if you can even get it to work.
I can't watch these videos because my internet is bad despite having 100 megabits per second download. And so I cannot gain any value out of them. I've asked everyone all the way up to Musa for a refund and the response I got was surprisingly rude and unhelpful. So
Musa is the editor that they just showed who was running the meetings.
I was forced to file a claim through my bank. You guys don't unplug kids from the matrix. You just plug them into your own matrix. And you know what happened? Post got removed. The post got removed. Sneako's product, Sneako server, Sneako team can't be censoring people who are going against their views. That can't be the case.
So if you can't access the course itself, that leaves you with a Discord server where most people just repost Sneako's content. At least according to YouTuber Dantavius, who tried it out for himself.
But one thing I noticed
that's a weird thing. I don't get it. The only thing that would make sense here is I understand that part of the, the Hustlers University and creativity kit thing is to, whether it's Tate or Sneako, will say, take my content, clip it up, start a YouTube channel or a TikTok or an Instagram or whatever, and blast these out everywhere. Of course, yes, you will get notoriety from that. You will never get as much notoriety as the actual person. And what it really does is make the person go artificially viral. Harley said, I don't care if he thinks women are dumb. I assume you're talking about no freedoms. But if you're going to make a claim about something, you should at least be able to back it up. And of course, he was not. He was just saying things. And that's why I didn't, I was fully trusting that you guys were going to be able to handle that. And you did. So good job. You rage quit.
A Sneako server is that a lot of people are just reposting Sneako's content. It's not exactly what I would call creative.
And if you're wondering why so many positive reviews seem to exist out there, it could have something to do with a little something called affiliate marketing. Something I don't think Sneako would have even heard of until his daddy Tate came along to hold his hand. You join the program, paste a little link in your bio, and suddenly you've made $5, although the rest of it went to Sneako. So he sure is good at putting himself at the top of the matrix he wants you to escape. In fact, he wants it so bad, he'll even break FTC guidelines to push his course further.
They're doing a giveaway in which they're giving 2 lucky members 2 free months of Creativity Kit access if they leave a review for the course. By the way, I'm pretty sure it's illegal. I'm pretty sure the people leaving these reviews are required by law to disclose that they left the review as part of a giveaway. It doesn't display the entire review, only the rating. So it's impossible to disclose that certain reviews have been part of a giveaway or a sweepstakes. It's essentially false advertising.
But I think we all understand his desperation.
Fucking illegal.
Sneako was hoping to make a fortune before the inevitable happened. As he saw with Tate, YouTube can bring the hammer down at any given moment, especially when you're flying as close to the sun as he was. Sneako knew a ban could have been right around the corner, but even with the knives this close to his throat, the last thing he was gonna do was back down.
You tried getting rid of me, and I'm still here.
Are you though? You're still here now?
They can ban me. I don't care. I do care, but I'm still here. Hey, yo, you remember when they wanted to ban me? You remember when they wanted to ban me?
Hey, remember when they did ban you? Remember when they did ban you?
Remember when these pussies put on their Harry Potter glasses and said, can you please ban Sneako? And it didn't work? They can't stop me. They can't stop me, man. They want me to stop. They want me to stop going. They want me to kill all my... They want me to stop making money. They want me to do nothing. They want me to sit there and cry and be like them. Take an antidepressant, go to therapy. I'm still here. Suck my...
As recent as this past September, Sneako had accumulated a total of 2 community guideline strikes on his Sneako channel. Although I'm not sure which 2 videos could have done it, between Why a Man Can't Become a Woman, Sneako versus Traumatized Woman Part 2, Why Whales Think They're Queens, and LGBTQ is hypocritical and kind of gross, Sneako was almost asking to get hit. After all, he had been cozying up to right-leaning ideas and personalities for a little while, introducing his once non-political audience of kids to the likes of dog whistler Tucker Carlson and its self-admitted fascist creep Matt Wall.
So like I said, there's an obvious, yeah, right. There's an obvious left-leaning bias here, but that's not what we're talking about. So, whatever.
With Sneako reacting to his transphobic documentary, What is a Woman? Live on stream, making sure to give it a ringing endorsement and at least 3 separate uploads, I guess.
I as well did that. I as well have a video still on the channel. You can go through the entire documentary with me. Obviously, I didn't just post it. Then I also did clips of it. So I also have 3 uploads of What is a Woman. I'm not Sneako, though.
Yes. For a guy who hates repetitive content, he sure, I mean, you get the idea. But perhaps the most dangerous examples of Sneako's pandering came from his friendship with racist, unironic neo-Nazi Nicholas J. Fuentes. In case you're a normal person with a life outside of the internet and have never heard of Nick Fuentes, allow me to ruin your day.
What people call
at this point, they're kind of rehashing the same stuff, but you see we're getting near the end and just taking a little detour. Then we're going to check out what, yeah, right. Then we're going to check out what Captain Paul has to say about all this. And then we are going to get the man himself up here to talk about what Sneako was like when he was young. What, you know, did they keep in touch? Like what all, I'm so curious about all of that. So that is going to be fun.
Gay because I've never had a girlfriend.
Nick Fuentes is an extremely far-right, white supremacist Christian nationalist who lurks among the most sexist caverns of the internet, spewing racist, anti-Semitic propaganda for the most touch-starved, social outcast losers on the planet. He opposes women's right to vote and dabbles in Holocaust denialism. He attended the Charlottesville Nazi rally and spoke before the January 6th Capitol attack.
It's almost like No Freedoms talking about women. Like, most people don't like this guy. You don't need to have a whole campaign against him in your video. Like, we know who Nick Fuentes is.
He's compared himself to Hitler and has been placed on a federal no-fly list. This is a man Sneako considers to be, quote, autistic-level smart, and appreciates Fuentes for inspiring fast-paced, high-level conversations, in his own words.
I think Destiny and Nick Fuentes are like autistic-level smart. I like those fast-paced, high-level conversations.
The same pipeline that me and Fuentes are going down, talking about bots and red pill and about who owns the banks and about who controls media.
He's like a Nazi, right?
No. He's a white nationalist. He's not a Nazi.
Somewhere along Sneako's red pill transformation, he was introduced to Fuentes and quickly took a liking to the man before bringing him on stream to indoctrinate his young fans with anti-Semitism.
And so you look at the Biden administration, and his cabinet is full of Jewish people. You look at big tech and legacy media, and the people that run them, it's full of Jewish.
Hey, we got Jay Clist in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party, Jay. Glad to see ya. We are tracking the downfall of Sneako. As much as we covered him on this channel, we definitely need to take a look at this. And unless he does something drastic in terms of, I mean, it would have to be really drastic to get worse than this, but something drastic to raise his stock, we're probably not going to be talking about Sneako very much at all on this channel. So welcome to the party.
Jewish people, Hollywood, full of Jewish people, and you
They
can't
control
talk
the media,
about
they control the money. Yeah. But in GTA, Jews control the media and the money.
all the villagers in Minecraft.
Vomiting purely hateful conspiracies to an audience with zero rebuttal from Sneako. To Fuentes, Sneako was nothing more than a useful idiot, taking advantage of his hospitality to spread dangerous, incendiary language amongst a brand new and particularly impressionable demographic.
Hey, Dan Jensen again. He's putting y'all to shame. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here, brother. Before you go, of course, you have earned watching the Q, and why not, for being the sponsor of the stream and tripling up on the donations. We're going to give him a double. Not a double, but a double. He's got 2 here. Say thank you to Dan, Morty. Oh, good boy. Thank you so much, Dan. Really do appreciate it. All right, let's do some math and get you in the banner
average
here.
IQ. That's another one of these so-called red pills, is that, different groups have different IQs. So on average, Chinese people have the highest IQ, white people have a high IQ.
You're saying Asians have the lowest, like Hispanics and blacks have the lowest IQs?
Yeah, blacks are the lowest on average, and Hispanics.
Wow.
On average. That's true.
Wow. I mean, if you have, send me a study about that.
Sneako sat there slack-jawed like a mouth-breathing
I think I got the number right. 74, right?
sheep as a terrorist freely got to claim that Jewish people control all the money in the world. Africa is poor because black people genetically have lower IQ and that these differences come from evolution. All in.
And just saying, guys, this is Danish money. So with $17, you can become the new sponsor of the stream.
Insane and absolutely false garbage, citing all kinds of bullshit studies and blatantly misrepresenting data, while Sneako refutes nothing.
And I was saying that I'm against race mixing. I think that people should marry their own kind. My race matters to me. My identity matters to me. I want my kids to look like me. I want my grandkids to look like me.
It's embarrassing and sad to watch a man who was once admired for his thoughtfulness and tact be absolutely walked all over and used by an anti-Semite who has only the worst intentions for Sneako and his fans in mind.
You don't have a lot of original thoughts because the hat on your head dictates what you think for the most part. Go back to synagogue. Stop trying to fucking be a YouTuber, bro.
Go back to synagogue. Stop trying to be a YouTuber. What the fuck, bro?
These later streams suggest a dark endpoint for Sneako's reputation and career as we once knew it. While he continued to celebrate his place on YouTube, even after the numerous attempts by other YouTubers to get him banned, Sneako's channels were finally removed the morning of October 3rd, 2022. Whether due to his comments about Chad, videos made to attack and delegitimize disenfranchised groups, or his newfound love for neo-Nazis, Sneako's repeated violations of YouTube's guidelines was always bound to catch up to him, with the platform's decision marking one final depressing chapter in Sneako's long, unfortunate character arc.
Oh,
they can do whatever they want. So if they want me gone, I'm just gone. That's just how it works. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit bummed out. I cannot show up on the
Oh, this is what I was talking about. So I don't remember who brought it up earlier. Saying that even Tate was saying that he was banned and everything. This is exactly what we were talking about.
Want me gone? I'm just gone. That's just how it works. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit bummed out. I cannot show up on the emergency meeting later tonight. I was supposed to do the emergency meeting on Tate on Rumble. The reason I can't go on the emergency meeting, I'm a risk. I'm a risk to have on. I was talking to Andrew for a long time last night. That dude is saying I'm a risk. Okay, Justin Waller, Andrew, and Fresh and Fit. And not me.
The story of Sneako is a masterclass in what can happen when you let the wrong people influence you. Although Sneako may claim over and over that he's always been like this, saying the same stuff forever, it may not be the humble brag he thinks it is. It's normal for your ideas and worldview to grow and change with you. In fact, being able to look back on your past self and cringe is one of the best feelings in the world because it means you matured. In the case
Facts, Jay. That's exactly why I am so appreciative to Jay Aubrey and Willie Mack for putting these together. Of course, we also checked out MoistCr1TiKaL's original video. But again, thank you to everybody who has put all of this together.
Of Sneako, it seems only his worst opinions are the ones to have followed him throughout the years, with his takes on women and feminism being the most particularly consistent, only getting less charitable once it became profitable to say such things. No matter how he cuts it, Sneako knows he benefited from a growing trend of hating women and becoming more reactionary online, abandoning whatever sense of decency he once had in exchange for instant success. Sneako's biggest problem, though, is that over the course of this journey, he managed to abandon everything that once defined him in a positive way. He lost his ability to reflect inwards, unable to show that familiar sense of self-awareness his previous fans once subscribed for. He made a conscious effort to trade thoughtfulness for petty bickering and controversy because that's what people wanted to see. His original mission statement went from seek truth through funny to seek validation through ignorance. By becoming this dense shell of the man he once was, he gained an entirely new audience to go along with this brand new persona. One that he can now only embody over on third-party platforms, which attract the worst kind of people imaginable. I don't think anyone should have sympathy either. Ignorance at that level is nothing but a choice. Sneako made up his mind on who he wanted to attract with the message he put forward. And all I can say now is I hope it was
was worth it. The thing is, no one has really seen the side of me to the fullest extent except for my family. I know how much of a prick I look like when I go full out, so the side of me is never revealed in public. It stays in the comforts of my home where people are forced to accept me. But over time, I've
where it should have stayed.
Seen how much people hate being around someone who consistently thinks he's right and won't stop until he is, so I mostly keep it to myself. Right now it's in full swing, but in 5 years, I hope it'll be gone. I piss even myself off sometimes. When you see rappers or basketball players who think they're the most important and special people in the world because children give them their endless, overwhelming fanboy support, that's what I feel like all the time. I think I'm so special and better than everyone else because I think I'm smarter. Just picture how narcissistic.
I think I'm better than everybody else. That is the mentality that you would expect from a 14, 15-year-old. So why then, 10 years later, does he have the same mentality? Dave Banner says, seek validation through ignorance. Perfectly sums up Sneako's character arc. I mean, you know, I cheer for the underdog. I am like, he's still young. He's still young. If he, you know, backs away from streaming, he gets, you know, his whole life has been online. His whole life. If he were to just take 6 months to a year, just chill, just meet some people, hang out with, you know, do normal people things, and then come back and be different. Do you know how welcoming his fans would be? You know how welcoming people like myself would be? He's not dumb. He's not a dumb guy. He's just lost in the sauce. He says the only time you're 100% of something means you're inbred. Yikes. Yikes. Good one. I like that a lot. I like it a lot.
That is. The side of me is my alter ego, and he's named Sneako.
Let's listen to that one more time, because that is so telling.
Keep it to myself. Right now it's in full swing, but in 5 years, but over time I've seen how much of a prick I look like. How is I hope it was worth it.
All right, so again, the audio obviously is from an earlier video when he was young. So let's listen. Why not? Let's listen to it at 125 and think about the reflection of how prophetic, not pathetic, prophetic, like a prophet. What are you doing, bro? Come here. I know. I'll fix it for you. I'll fix it for you. What do you have on you? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I know. Come here. Oh. Okay. Look. There you go. See? There you go. There you go. All right. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so this is obviously from an earlier point in his career. And where the fuck is my mouse? And let's see how prophetic it is with, you know, where he ended up.
Thing is, no one has really seen the side of me to the fullest extent except for my family. I know how much of a prick I look like when I go full out, so the side of me is never revealed in public. It stays in the comforts of my home where people are forced to accept me. But over time, I've seen how much people hate being around someone who consistently thinks he's right and won't stop until he is, so I mostly keep it to myself. Right now it's in full swing, but in 5 years, I hope it'll be gone. I piss even myself off sometimes. When you see rappers or basketball players who think they're the most important and special people in the world because children give them their endless, overwhelming fanboy support, that's what I feel like all the time. I think I'm so special and better than everyone else because I
think I'm so special and better than everyone else.
I think I'm smarter. Just picture how narcissistic
I think I'm smarter.
That is. The side of me is my alter ego, and he's named Sneako.
There you go. So before we jump into the Captain Paul video from TSP, got a couple comments here. David Banner says, that's the thing. You can tell he's intelligent, and he clearly understands how to be a good content creator. But the path he chose for himself is so detrimental for any future he hopes to have. Don't get lost in the sauce. It's not just about YouTube. It's not just about clout. This is a message and a lesson for anyone, anywhere. Keep yourself grounded and make sure every single day you remind yourself of what is actually important. There is too much out there that will tempt you to do things that are not in your best interest. Christians, you call it the devil. Whatever you want to call it. Temptation exists. And if you are not strong enough to not only not indulge, but not to be able to identify the temptation. That is where you get into trouble. Hey, speaking of TSP, we got Dr. Evil Genius in the building. Welcome to the party. Just dropped the link to his channel. We are about to check out a video from this channel. So please go over, subscribe, check them out, and give them a look at what they're doing. So actually, while we're waiting, no, all right. Shit, I already told him that I'm coming, but here I forgot there was one more short video here. So let's just check.
Little Make-A-Wish kid's dream come true.
I just want to bully this guy. Like, bring bullying back. Bully.
So this is the same guy who did the second video, or the first long video that we watched, Willie Mack. Captain Paul's here. So let's just watch his video, and we'll do that, and then we'll come back and see what he has to say about the retrospective, the other side. All right, Captain Paul.
Sneako, it's time to stop. You're writing a lot of checks your ass cannot cash, and this comes from somebody that has known you since the infancy of your time on YouTube.
So that's what
we all don't know. I am Captain Paul. Used to have a gaming channel in the Call of Duty community. Now I have a sports channel in the locker room, but you're not here for this. But let's get right into the brass tactics. Sneako is a content creator that I knew from the very beginning. He was actually a big fan of one of my alternative YouTube accounts, Papa Thunder, back in the day, and he was a big fan of it. He would write to me in DMs and stuff of that matter, and if I still had those Twitter accounts, I would probably go and show the DMs, but really it's not relevant to this conversation. Seeing Sneako develop into essentially a laughingstock and a punching bag is very sad for me to see in a way, because I knew of him when he was around 13 or 14 years old, when he was a wide-eyed, bushy-tailed individual just trying to make it in the YouTube landscape. And when it kind of comes down to it, seeing this massive fall from grace is disheartening. And while people want to pile on and insult the crap out of Sneako, and completely honest, justified for doing so, we also have...
Hey, we got Splits in the building. Welcome to the party. We are just talking about Sneako's downfall, talking with Captain Paul, and he is waiting backstage, and we are going to chat with him as well.
To kind of step back and maybe realize that this is someone that could be possibly reaching out for help. Listen. To me, Sneako suffers from a couple issues. One, he does not have his own unique voice.
Nope.
He looks at the Andrew Tates and just parrots everything they say, whether it's right or wrong. And secondly, he is massively insecure in his own life. Someone that is secure in their relationship and feels good about themselves does not allow themselves to be cuckolded. They do not allow another man to fuck their girlfriend in front.
Multiple times, because again, as a young person, I could understand why, like, oh yeah, this is what everybody's doing and whatever. You get in there, he said 3 pumps, and I had to walk out, but you did it again, bro. What are you doing?
Of them. And mind you, people are into a various different amount of kinks, but to me, that is not a healthy relationship. So when I look at Sneako, while everyone wants to pile on, I look at this as a case study of an individual that is not sure of themselves and just scrambling to figure out ways to stay successful or to stay relevant. Let's go into the Charlie response. I think Charlie did a masterclass of subtly telling Sneako, well, dude, you have firearms, I have firearms too, and correcting him on the terminology.
I was boss.
The biggest problem I have with Sneako is if you're going on stream, essentially threatening somebody with their life with guns, saying, I have clips, let's kind of do this work.
Hey, we have the misanthropic altruist in the building. Welcome to the party. What part of the internet is this? The best part. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. We party, and right now we are taking a look at the downfall of Sneako. We covered Sneako, throughout the past year as somebody who was doing pretty well online, and not so much anymore. But welcome to the party.
Watch my clips. Watch my clips. Watch my clips. You want me to watch your clips? Watch my clips.
I mean, you are bringing that negative headspace and that negative energy into your life. And to be very clear here, now Charlie's a very rational human being. When you check the wrong individual, you will get actions that you were not prepared for. Let's say Charlie was an irrational, angry motherfucker. There's ways to find out where you live, Sneako. There's ways to find out where everyone lives on the internet. You can get doxxed pretty easily. So let's say you pissed off the wrong individual that's unhinged, and you could end up dead for angering the wrong person. Now, I'm not wishing death upon Sneako, but I'm kind of trying to have an important lesson here if he ever does watch this. Do not put that type of energy out in the world unless you are truly ready to die for that. we have seen a lot of young people in the United States post these videos. A week or two later, end up shot and killed because they thought they were big and bad on the internet. So the whole threatening with guns thing, as a firearm owner myself, bothers me. Because when you own a gun, it is your responsibility to be very, very careful how you present yourself out in the world.
And there's a lot of people who commented on the fact that he just had, like, I've held a gun maybe twice in my life. And even I know, keep your finger off the trigger. And so many people, who are not, these soy boy, then of course, you're going to get made fun of. Absolutely, misanthropic altruist. You are, you found the perfect channel. You found the perfect channel. You're here. Because, like, the reason I covered Sneako and Andrew Tate and a lot of red pill stuff is because I do feel like I'm red pilled. But the space is really what has been muddied. With as Dr. Evil Genius here would say, like the frauds in Florida. We saw that stuff with Donovan Sharp and all of that. So, I mean, you are in the absolute perfect place. Welcome to the party.
You cannot be threatening other individuals, and quite frankly, you could get your firearm stripped from you if you are going out of your way threatening people, okay? Okay. Secondly, I have no qualms with what Charlie said because Sneako attacked him. And another thing I will talk about, Sneako is all about free speech and being able to insult people how they want to insult. But it seems like he gets upset when people insult him. So he's not really about that same energy.
Nope.
If it really bothers you, Sneako, you cannot stay in the same headspace where you insult the shit of other people if you cannot take being insulted back.
Which goes right back to our conclusion that 6 months off of streaming might be the saving grace that he needs.
It's just really, really sad for me to see. I've seen a lot of people that have used the gaming platform grow up and be massively successful, like Mr. Beast has to be one. Now, I'm not claiming I ever knew Mr. Beast, but I knew he did drop videos within the TSG community. So you've seen a lot of YouTubers go...
Real quick, would you watch gaming content if I did gaming content as a non-gamer and I just bought a PS5 and hooked it up and started playing random shit? I was just thinking about it last night.
From Call of Duty commentators and find their own niches and be successful. And seeing the absolute downfall and the dragging into the mud of Sneako, where to the point he can no longer post within YouTube because of his acts, it is sad to see.
Absolutely. And Misanthropic Altruist says it's hard to hate on Charlie. It was a horrible beef to start. Sneako is stuck on stupid. Facts.
And when I look at this individual, I don't look at a well-formed young man that's well put together. I look at somebody that's grasping at straws, trying to cling at any relevancy he can, because he knows he massively fucked up. And this, to me, is where I'm going to kind of go and end the video. Sneako.
This is the part that when I watched this, I was like, this is exactly what Sneako needs to hear. This is exactly the perfect take on what's going on as somebody who knows who Sneako is. And this is exactly why I wanted you guys and myself to hear from Captain Paul himself.
It is not too late to improve. It is not too late to apologize. This big, bad persona that you want to carry out is not you. You're not gangster. You're not hood. You're not about that action. You're an educated young man that is lashing out at everybody. What would be far more prudent for you to do in this situation is to acknowledge your shortcomings and apologize to the appropriate people. While may never fix
thumbs up whenever you're ready
completely, would be the first stepping stone to get to a place of respectability where people would take you more seriously. You're talented. You are an extremely talented young man. And if you put that energy into good spaces, I think you'd be wildly successful. But if you cling to this red pill, Andrew Tate, dick sucking contest, where you're not forming your own unique individual opinions, you will continue to crash and burn. Having YouTube beef with guys like Charlie, having YouTube beef with various different YouTubers that you want to fight, but you won't end up fighting. This doesn't help you in the grand scheme of things.
And so, yeah, he's basically just recounting all the stuff that we just watched. So let's welcome to the stage, the one, the only, Captain Paul.
What's going on there, Lex?
What is good? Welcome to the party. Really quick, before we start, let the people who don't know who you are, and where they can find you.
Well, there's a couple places you can find me. I'm the co-host on the Talking Shit podcast, Talking Shit. It should be on the YouTube. Pretty easy to find now due to the algorithm. And then also I run a hockey channel, which is more of a sports channel, The Locker Room, at The Locker Room YT on YouTube. And yeah, that's where you can find me. Yeah, those are my two destinations you'll find me on YouTube.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I just dropped a link to the Locker Room. Please go check that content out. But you're here for a very different reason. So, Dr. Genius. So, can you talk to us a little bit about how you were talking about how you knew Sneako back in the day when he was doing these Call of Duty videos. What was the setup?
Well, so this is how it kind of worked out is me, Frito, I think JD from NY was kind of in that group, but me and Frito did collaborations together. He's a smaller gaming channel. I don't even think he's around on YouTube anymore. I actually kind of knew of Sneako and kind of met Sneako because he was a fan of one of my alternative channels called Papa Thunder, which was kind of like a character, really bad satire, just like really kind of offensive humor back in the day, which had at the height of it, because I had 3 different channels, like around 20,000 subscribers. Okay. And it was he was a big fan of my stuff. He would reach out to me, and him and Frito would talk, and it wasn't like I always kind of kept a distance, just admittedly, because he was a younger kid. But I always like, if you always needed like help with editing or some advice with like audio or something of that ilk, or just general advice, I'd always be like, hey man, this is what you should do here, here, and here. And because I always thought, he just came off as a really, really nice kid. I'll be really blunt with you. And yeah, it's weird for me to see, because I've seen him and I've seen some of the haters in the video saying, oh, you don't know Sneako. I'm like, I knew him when he had like, I think 100 subscribers, like very, very, very early on. And he was a fan of my content. That's actually kind of how I met. And then for health reasons with the cancer stuff, I literally stopped making content on YouTube for years. Relatively recently, I came back within the last year and a half, 2 years. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I met Sneako.
Damn straight you did. We got a cancer survivor in the building. So, I mean, you obviously had this relationship, some severance of a relationship with him.
Right.
I guess you wouldn't call him a friend, or would you?
Because he was younger, like I just viewed him as like a kind of like a little brother type figure. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that like would come to you, ask for him advice, be like, hey man, like here, like I think he had Sony. Was it Sony Vegas? I forget, but there was, because I'm familiar with both programs. I just help him with certain rendering settings, and just sometimes just DMing on the and just you asking questions and saying, hey man, when you making a video, stuff of that crazy. And I mean, like I said, he came off as a really, really nice kid. So I don't like it's been an interesting development to see over the last year or so.
Yeah, to all of us. So to you especially. How much have you been in contact with him? Like, when did you?
The problem is I lost contact with a lot of guys. So when I got the diagnosis and I just stepped away from the scene completely, like, Dr. Evil will even tell you, like, he's the only guy I've really stuck in contact at all. And even then, like, I didn't talk to Evil for like at least a year, a couple years. There was a big gap in time. Just because I had so many health issues and I was in my own headspace, and, you kind of deal with that shit like you're kind of struggling with your health. You just kind of get wrapped up in your own situation. So, like, unfortunately, there's a lot of guys I wish I still kept in contact with, and some I've kind of recently talked to a little bit more frequently, like JD from NY again, and because he's a client of DEG. But I mean, like Thunder.
Shout out to JD.
402 Thunder 402. I knew him. We actually lived in the same state. We only lived like 20 minutes away from each other. I knew him as well, and it just, due to a lot of things, I just lost contact with pretty much everyone in that scene.
So I guess you didn't have any type of insider information in terms of, as he grew from just doing these Call of Duty videos to the video essays to the live streams. I guess you were just as much on the outside as we were.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It wasn't like I talked to Sneako throughout this whole years and stuff like that. Now, sometimes when he transferred over from the gaming stuff, I think we had a couple of conversations, but just like I said, because I got wrapped up in my own shit, I really didn't really stay on top of it. So it was actually kind of cool. I'll be blunt. It was really cool seeing him get into a big YouTuber. Like, yo, that's pretty dope. Like someone I know,
Yeah.
someone that I even helped out, kind of getting successful, finding a little spot. I mean, and that's borderline. That's what I want for the kid. I just want him to get back right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not-
That's and that's what we've been saying is that like he's lost in the sauce. He's lost in the sauce,
Yeah.
and specifically that phone call with Tristan Tate where he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you know, we're gone now, and you need to take the torch, and you need to spread the message." I think that really stuck with him and didn't do him well. So speaking of people who were around at that time, a lot of videos we were just watching, we're talking about how Mr. Beast was very close with Sneako and being first to comment on his videos.
Correct.
Were you guys in like the same group or?
So how that worked out is, so it was this gaming channel that's kind of dead now, Thunderstruck Gaming. So 402 Thunder 402, he's still around, I think, making content, I'm pretty sure. But he had a community channel to help get people on, get more notice and stuff. And that's essentially what TSG is, a Thunderstruck Gaming. It was a community channel where Sneako, Mr. Beast, and all of those smaller content creators like myself, Dr. Evil. There's a lot of guys that got on there and that eventually did go on to being successful YouTubers, or like me, had to kind of just walk away from it altogether for various different amount of reasons. Oh shit, was it 5 years? See, that's what I'm saying. For me, because I'm going through it, I don't like even recall necessarily. It's been like, it was such a process. But I mean, I think for me, like that's kind of how I knew of him. But to be fair, he kind of reached out to me when I was Papa Thunder before I even knew of his channel. So that's why I kind of, admittedly, it was kind of funny on some of the comments. Oh, you don't know Sneako. I'm like, dog, he was a fan of me before you were a fan of him. So
Right.
relax.
Right.
you
There
know?
you go. So, I mean, in just looking at, obviously, we heard from the video that we just watched that, you pretty much align with the conclusions that we came to, that, it's a sad thing that he's a smart guy, that he, definitely has the capability to be a force for good.
Right.
But right now he's not.
No.
So, well, let me just throw it to you. What do you think he could do to make a comeback or make a return, or is that even possible at this point, in your opinion?
I think I definitely believe in redemption. I think anyone can come back, like, unless you're out there murdering people, that's a whole different conversation. But like, I believe anyone, I'm sorry, I believe anyone can kind of come back out there and recover. So personally, what I think, and he won't do this, I legitimately think he just needs to get off the internet for at least 6 months to a year, really work a job, kind of have a complete mental reset. The problem that I feel like, and you actually touched upon it, was the Tristan Tate thing, is he's gotten his mindset warped because he's very easily malleable. He's not a unique individual right now. He's just a mouthpiece of various different ideologies. And he just doesn't know who he is yet. And that's fine. He's a young guy. Everyone's going through this growth process of being a better human being tomorrow. But I think he needs to do that offline. And like, if he is going to get away from the internet fame, the one thing I would just tell him is like, listen, I think at the very least, you should make an apology video, or just be like, listen, obviously I'm not in the right mental state right now. I want to apologize to those I have offended, and go from there. Because while you'll have those people that will always hate you, like, I'm sorry, look at people that are very controversial, like Logan Paul, that always get second, third, or fourth chances because they apologize, quote unquote, and went from there. So I think redemption is definitely capable for him.
I agree with you. Like Misanthropic Ultras is saying, authentic redemption will not work. All he can do is pivot and pander to a new audience. I mean, at his age, I don't know that like, he definitely could do that. But yeah. I do think that, what Cap is saying is absolutely true, that, people love a good redemption story. They love 100%. To see, they love to build somebody up just to knock them down. But they also love to see that redemption. I was just watching a video on Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was, a Hollywood darling. Like, I mean, aside from the fact that Elizabeth Hurley was so hot in the 90s, that movie Bedazzled was not as revered as it should have been. Right. I digress. But he was he was blackballed from Hollywood for a long time. He had a lot of mental health issues and gained a lot of weight, and then came back recently and won an Oscar for playing a part. And people love that. People love that. So again, we're talking about I said exactly the same thing. 6 months to a year. Just get off the internet. Delete all the apps. Just go outside, touch some grass, meet some people, go to a bar. It doesn't even have to be like meditating and anything. Just live a normal life. And then when you come back, I don't even think there is an apology necessary. I think we've all been that person in our 20s, just maybe not to that degree. And to just come back and be like, hey, you know what? I was a person that was, this, that, and the other, and I don't want to be that person anymore. And I took some time, and I'm not that person anymore. And so here we are.
I think when it kind of comes down to Sneako and just watching the material over the years, and I think, as I said, he's following trends. I think I said that in the video. He's just following trends and just latching onto to stay relevant. The problem is it's weird, right? Because he's kind of being a hypocrite in some fashions. Like, what red pill alpha male also gets cucked? And I'm not trying to disparage him. I'm just saying the ideologies don't make sense. And I think that's because he is, I know for a fact he had completely juxtaposed views at certain points. Then he would go right, left winging, and that's fine.
Exactly.
But just find yourself, and there's no shame in that. Yeah, you might have built up this certain brand, but I firmly believe this. He's an extremely talented young man, and if he goes and does the right things and kind of clears his mind, he could definitely have a creative opportunity here on whatever social media platform he can create content on. I mean, I've noticed on Rumble, he's still uploading daily. He's actually kind of done a little bit of his older series. He's starting to kind of revive that. And maybe that will be good for him. But I just, overall, personally, I would get off the internet and really just work a job and kind of center myself. Because this fantasy that the Tate brothers are trying to sell him is exactly what it is. It's a fantasy. It's not really based...
That's a good point too, about getting a job and just living as a normal person. Cause he's got the money that if he wanted to take 6 months and just not do jack shit, he could. But that goes along with what boy, Dr. Evil Genius is saying. He also needs to get with a woman who respects him enough not to beg to get bent over by other men. Now he in the clip that we've all seen with him and the two dudes. He talks about I thought if I was, getting it from other places that she should be able to get other dick and whatever. I was saying maybe that ain't for you, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe that ain't for you. I'm not built like that. And I have no shame in that. Compare it to Destiny. Destiny seems totally fine. Just, screwing other girls and letting other dudes fucking okay, if that works for you, whatever. But
yeah, to each their own. I mean, and listen, I personally, my personal belief is I couldn't allow that, and it's not because I'm insecure or anything like that. Just I'm not looking to have my wife spread around by a bunch of different dudes or me fucking a bunch of different women. That's not, there was a comment on the video I was relatively recently saying, oh well, someone that's insecure in the relationship should allow someone to be able to get fucked or something. I'm like, no, that doesn't really make sense to me. That makes no sense. If I'm gonna deal with infidelity, I'm just gonna fucking see you later. I'm done with that shit.
Right.
And I think personally, in my opinion, and maybe I'll get roasted for saying this, people that really practice that type of kink have no self-esteem. And maybe that's just me, but that's how I feel.
I agree with you. I think that a lot of the stuff surrounding that lifestyle, let's just put it that way, a lot of stuff surrounding that lifestyle has a high correlation with people who are just unhappy and looking for something.
Yeah,
and I mean, I think he needs that time.
I definitely agree, and I think also limiting yourself to red pill, blue pill, manosphere, or whatever, just labeling yourself whatever. I mean, as you know, I have some conservative ideals, but there's also some aspects of myself, I'm probably a little bit more liberal. I think just being your best version of yourself is the most important, instead of trying to follow trends and be red pill, be the next Andrew Tate. No, just be the next you.
Right.
Don't be the next Tate. Be the next you. Stop trying to be something you're not. And the funny part is, he's the one thing that kind of bothered me, admittedly, was him shaking gun. I'm like, dog, you went to private school. I know you're not about that life. Like you test the wrong motherfucker, and I know this from experience when my best friend got murdered for it. You end up dead. Like there's no coming back from that. Don't try to act like something. You're a toothpick that would get snapped in half. 6.5 pounds of pressure on your neck, you're dead. Don't try to act like you're some big bad tough guy when you're the furthest thing from it. You know, and that's like my lesson for him is like, dude, just relax, be happy with your success, and just take some time off. Like, take some time to find yourself. Maybe go to Italy. Maybe go to like go wherever you gotta go. But stop acting like you're some internet thug when you're the furthest thing from that. You came from a 2-parent household, parents that loved you, that supported you and paid you through school. Enough.
Yeah,
like
that would be like me trying to come out. Oh, gangster. He's just taller. He's just taller. That's it.
Just, and it's like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And just knowing from a lot of people that have lived in that life because they had to, it's amusing to me in a way that you have a bunch of rich kids from the suburbs or very well-off kids from the suburbs try to act gangster, but then you have the actual genuine gangsters, the people that go through it that want to get out of that situation. Yep. It's always kind of been an amusing situation for me to see because it's like, dude, like there's nothing to glorify about that lifestyle, in my opinion.
Facts. I definitely agree. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming up here and adding a lot of color to all of this because even though you may have been just like us on the outside for the actual downfall, knowing him at the start really does like I said give us a little bit more color. So. Absolutely. Very much appreciated. I'm going to give you the floor one more time. I did drop the link to the channel as well as the TSP link, which I will do again. But tell the people where they can find you. Cap, the floor is yours.
Well, if you want to see the viral video in its original form, check out the Talking Shit podcast, Talking sh_t at Talking Shit on YouTube. If you want sports coverage, I do at the Locker Room YT. Just look up the Locker Room YT. I cover pretty much mainly hockey right now, but I'll be having baseball and various different sports. And yeah, those are the main 2 destinations you will get me. Otherwise, I am pretty much a hermit on the internet. So that's pretty much where you'll find me. I appreciate for you having me on there, Lutch. And yeah, man, appreciate it.
Awesome. So I just dropped both those links in the chat. Please go check out Cap and TSP, who does TSP, which is done with also Dr. Evil Genius, who you can see in the chat right now. Thank you so much for coming up, brother. I really do appreciate it. You have a good one.
You too, bud.
Peace. So let's see where we got some comments here. Yeah, so Dr. Uva Genius lives in a situation where he has a one-ended, one side open-ended. Is that how you would say it? I don't know. You live like a degenerate. But no, he has 2 women living with him, and then he is free to do whatever he likes. I don't want to put too much of his stuff out there, but you talking about it. So, and he says, it doesn't work like that in my house. I might smash a chick, but the reverse isn't on the table. It's just not there. And the fact is, if the women in his household are okay with that, then, that's for anybody or that's not for anybody to say that it's wrong. And he goes on to say that I know people in the kink communities because Cap and I were saying that if you live like that, you probably have some other stuff going on. But Dr. Virginia says, I know people in the kink communities. You guys would be incorrect on the sex aspect. Self-esteem isn't really a factor in their choices. Many of them are happy, horny degenerates. I mean, I guess you would know better than me. I definitely would, think that, there's probably a lot less willingness to admit that that is why you would be in that type of community if that were the case. But I don't know what I don't know. So that's all I can do. Mr. Anthropic Altruist says, Sneako thinks red pill ballin' is synonymous with degeneracy. Possibly a youthful folly, but his reputation is demolished. And that's exactly what we were saying about how, if you think about how he's been chronically online since he was a teenager, even though he wasn't as big as he was before he got canceled. I wonder, you know, being not even that size of a channel myself at 35, 33, whatever, what that does to your mentality and creating that arrested development where you have no reason to mature. You have no reason to do better. You're balling. You're red pill balling, or at least you think you are. I don't know who that is. David says, even Tate, world champ kickboxer, isn't flexing that he's tough. He flexes he's rich and is ahead of the game, but he's never like, nobody can fuck with me. I'm big and bad. Good point. Good point. And of course, shout out to Captain Paul. Again, thank you so much, Cap, for coming up, talking to us. And I think the bottom line here is that this is not something that is only happening to dumb people, that is only happening to evil people, that is only happening to any one type of person. Attention is addictive. Attention is addictive. You see Dylan Mulvaney out there. How many of you think he actually has gender dysphoria? Go watch the Price is Right clip and then tell me if you think he has gender dysphoria. But it's just, again, I keep coming back to this phrase, lost in the sauce. He's just lost in the sauce. It's just YouTube, bro. It's just like, once you're at the point of like, okay, I can do this to pay my bills, then I don't see the desperation to grow at the same rate. When you have 500 subscribers, you will do anything to get to that 1K. But once you're monetized, once you have your following, once you have people like Dan and Dividing Rod and everybody else who you know is donating and making this an actual thing, with Harley coming in, an indie film coming in, as long as you guys are here to support me and allow me to do this for my job, that's all I want. I already spent a year and a half with y'all doing this shit for free. So obviously I enjoy it. I just need to be able to pay my bills. And so again, we come back to the idea that he has lost in the sauce. He has lost in the idea that he needs to grow. He needs to be better. He needs to be more. He needs to, whatever it is. You need to be able to determine that, like, hey, I'm doing pretty good. Let me just look around and smell the roses and enjoy my life. What point is there in doing well and being successful if you can't enjoy it? Centropic Culture says the Tates should have never engaged with Sneako. It was a disservice to him. I'm going to disagree with you there, bro. Because they did a lot for him. It was Sneako who took that opportunity and bungled it. I don't remember what show I'm quoting, but he bungled it. He bungled it. All from the framework of Sneako's mindset. You know, we were talking about before about how every interaction with any other person is got to be monetized for content. The fact is, the Tates did a huge favor to Sneako. Just like if I were to give you $1 million, just outright, like, here you go, no taxes, $1 million. And then you spent all that money on heroin. Did I do a disservice to you? Or did you do a disservice to you? Sneako said himself he was a millionaire, which I'm going to guess means that at one point he had more than $1 million and 0 cents. So what are we talking about? They made him a millionaire. If you can't handle being a millionaire, then like, hey, I get it. And probably a lot of people can't. Especially when it's that quick. Especially when you're that young. But to put that on the Tates, nah. I don't agree with that. It comes back to the whole conversation about personal responsibility. What did the Tates do to Sneako that was negative? All they ever did was help him. All they ever did was give him opportunities. And what did he do with those opportunities? Yeah, I mean, David says, I'm calling cap on Sneako being a millionaire, but fools easily part with their dollars. So what do I know? I mean, I don't doubt it. I mean, when you get to that level, I mean, YouTube money ain't no joke. At this level, YouTube money is a fucking joke, which is why I need you guys so badly. But once you get there, that's what I'm talking about. Is that it's frustrating to me to see these people who have the life. They have the life. Their only responsibility is maybe to put out a video a day or stream a few times a week or whatever. I'm doing this shit without Dan and Harley and Divine and Rod. I'd be doing this shit for free while I also have a job. These people like Sneako are out here fucking around, making more money than I've ever seen in my life. And they still need more. And again, that's not just an online thing. That's something in life. You know, somebody told me something extremely valuable, and especially now that I'm older, I can't even determine how valuable this one sentence was to me. You know, I used to be into electronic music, and I used to go to raves and festivals and stuff, and all that stuff. And early on, you know, I was, as time went on, I went more for the music. But as any noob to raves and stuff, you're going for the drugs. Now, when you're sober, it's a lot easier to understand, you know, what's going on. I'm enjoying this, so on and so forth. But when you just drop 2 quad stacks, ecstasy, if you don't know. But if you just took 2 quad stacked ecstasy pills, then you're in the moment. You're having the time of your life, but you're in the moment. And as soon as whatever happens, that's gone. And so somebody told me, hey, make sure, we're at a rave, make sure whatever feels like a half an hour, you stop and you look around, look at the crowd, look at the stage, look at everything around you, and appreciate the fact that this is happening to you right now. It was amazing. It was amazing to be able to be in that state of mind and then also be conscious of how much I was enjoying myself. The whole stop and smell the roses thing, 10 times as much if you're on ecstasy. But I'm going to guess that it didn't come from people being on ecstasy. So even if you're sober, you want to stop and smell the roses. When did Sneako ever do that? Mr. Anthropic says, I'm not fond of the Tates, so that colors my opinion. In my world, it would be it would have been the right thing to not bring that kid into the fold. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I really do. But how are they supposed to know what he is capable of when he has been online for his whole life and they were just kind of starting to dabble? I absolutely agree with you that it was not good for Sneako for him to be in touch with the Tates. What I'm saying is I just don't I don't know that I can put that on them. Dr. Virginia says Sneako has at least had at least 1 million subs. One sub channel gets money, and he's still getting super chats and all that on Rumble. Yeah, I mean, millionaire is not out of the realm of possibility for what he was doing. Dave Banner says Sneako was brought in because he was not disagreeable with the Tates and bought into what they preach. Also, they aren't stupid. Sneako's audience is what they were farming. Duh. That didn't even occur to me. That's exactly what they were doing. Why the hell else would he be on stream with Aiden, Ross, and XQC? That was the first thing we covered with Andrew Tate on this channel. And I'm like, this is weird. Farming the audience. Obviously. Snap the smell of the Quaaludes. Get the fucking loots! Yeah, 100%. Gratitude is a superpower. And I do think, in terms of Sneako, I don't think that he has a lack of gratitude. I think that he just doesn't have the foresight to understand like what the effect of everything that's going on around him. I think, and I'm speculating, but I'm going to guess that because he's been online for his whole life, that he thinks of himself as somebody who knows this space. But the VOD space and the live stream space are very, very different. Once you record your video, you edit it, and you make it perfect, and then you put it out in the world, and that's all people know of you. But when you're live in front of a camera, and there's no edits, there's no nothing, it's very different. And I think that, that absolutely led to all of this. I mean, I don't think if he had stuck with his video essays that this would have happened. Now, probably also wouldn't have grown as much, but again, he could have easily gotten to 1 million subs, at least 500K. And that is money. That's real money. Dr. Virginia says TLA was making $50,000 a month when he made it to just 100,000 subs. Imagine 1 million. That's what them super chats come in, guys. Just saying. I'm doing my part. Just saying. But I do appreciate, of course, every fucking moment that you guys spend with me. I love doing this. I love doing this with you guys. I love hanging out. And I do think that as much as it is really important that we talk about this thing, these things, I can't lie and say that doing the videos, doing the streams, hanging out with you guys is my favorite part. I do think absolutely that I am going to change how political discourse occurs in this country. You can believe me or not, or you can get on the ground floor, but it is going to happen. People are going to know my name. But it takes time. So if you guys are here, you're along for the ride, I can promise you it is going to be exciting and crazy in a good way. But I guess that's all I have for you tonight, guys. Please, the party is not over. We are heading over to Discord, and whatever you guys have to talk about, I want to hear it. I am so excited to hear it. Definitely. It is free, guys. Don't forget, it's free. So just hit the link, and it's free. And you can hang out with me all the time. And we also have so many other cool people in there as well. And then we're going to get to a certain number, which I already have in my head. We're going to cut it off. And all you guys who are in there, you'll be good. You'll be grandfathered in. But everybody else is going to have to pay a monthly fee. Because, I got to make my money. And they're going to want to be where we are. So be part of the group before you're buying into it. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate you. This is a special stream to me just because it focuses on stuff that, you know, when I was first live streaming, Destiny all the time will talk about different arcs that he has. And I feel like this is an arc for me. It feels like we're doing something here. And more than the money or anything else, that's what matters to me, what we're doing here. So thank you guys so much for partnering with me. Once again, I am your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.